What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Bare Minimum, guys. I am Brandon. Unfortunately, tonight we are without Dustin. He had something come up, guys, but that's all right. The content must go on. Vizzo Joe, I see you. Thanks for being here in the building already. I appreciate you. Yeah, guys, I want to talk about the state of the Bears quarter way through this season, possibly some roster adjustments, some health, most importantly, and then see what their ceiling might be, guys. Look, if you're looking at the schedule ahead. Yeah, and I think it's important, like I said, that health, I think, is the only thing that's going to help this team adjust a lot of the problems that they have right now. And that and more, guys, after this.
Windy City banners rocking 4 stars aligned. Dynasty dreams rise, Bulls in their prime. Cubs curse shattered, the victory divine. Fields be running, clock ticking on my timeline. Shot town heroes, legends never fade. Black Hawks flying, cutting ice with the blade. White Sox diamonds, the South Side parade. 4 stars shine bright, legacies they made. Mike with the crown, air rain, no dispute. Sweetness in the backfield, Walter in pursuit. Bear down Sunday's midfield, battles cute. Chicago.
What's going on, guys? Thanks again for joining me for another edition of the Bare Minimum. I don't know if you guys just saw that. I almost forgot we had an intro video. Yeah, guys, I want to talk about the state of the Bears a quarter way through the season, a 2-2 record, which is what most of us here at 4 Star Chicago Sports projected, guys. So they're right where we thought they might have been. But most importantly, I think they've progressed, and I think they've progressed even faster than I thought most fans would anticipate. I think the game in which they lost to the Vikings was almost strictly based on self-inflicted wounds, and obviously by the time they played that Raiders team, it looked like a team that had a lot more discipline, and they fought all the way to the end to pull that game out, as opposed to the Vikings game where they gave up a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. You can see this team's growth, and we expected to, because we thought, we believed, we hoped that we had hired a coaching staff that can actually do that for a franchise. And I think Ben's brought a tremendous staff into this organization. I think all these guys are having impacts, and you're seeing it week by week, guys. And I think with this bye week could be used for, as far as this Bears team is concerned, and getting better for the future. I think health, like I said, is most important. This is the thing you got to lean on, guys. With the additions of, with this team's defense is their problem for the foreseeable future. I think we can all agree on that. It's going to be important for these guys to get Kyler Gordon back, TJ Edwards back, and Austin Booker back, and we can see what kind of impact that has on this team. Because if it doesn't tremendously, what's going on, AC Adam? Appreciate you joining me, man. Throw something in the chat if you want to talk about it. If this team does not tremendously improve on defense, I just don't know how many I don't see them winning more than 7 or 8 games. But I do believe this team is going to compete all year. I think we can see that already with the way that Ben Johnson's kind of shifted the culture here. I do think that Raiders game was a culture win. I would call it. It was ugly. Things didn't go the way either team wanted. I think offensively, obviously, a lot of turnovers on the Raiders half, but the Bears really just didn't operate efficiently. They were in the red zone almost every time they got the ball, and they couldn't score. They had, I think, 6 points off 3 trips to the red zone early in that game. So it's not where you want it to be. But I think after the first quarter, like we said, we project them to be 2-2. That's where they're at, and I think it speaks volumes that the 2 games they did win, regardless of the opponent, 1 through 4, the 2 games they won were the latter games of the quarter of that season. So, you would hate to see them come out, win a game, and then lose 3. That wouldn't show much progress. So I think it is important that they won the 2 games that they finished that first quarter with. And I thought, obviously, they played a bad defense in Dallas, but they ran a clean operation and they torched them. And that's what a good football team is supposed to do against a team like Dallas, guys. And it makes you wonder, and I'm not trying to be biased here. It does make you wonder how Green Bay managed to tie that football team. But regardless of that, guys, they played the Raiders, which I knew was going to be a tough. We all knew that was going to be a tougher team than Dallas. Dallas is getting beat up on the defensive side by pretty much everyone. And They came out and they never they never lost persistence of their their goal. They continued to pursue, and I like the way Ben Johnson approached it. I know it's not the way he likes to run a game. He Many times he was close to the end zone. He decided to take the field goal. I'm sure that it took everything in him to fight going forward on fourth down every time he did. And Cairo Santos made all four field goals that they asked him to kick. And I think that made the difference, just hanging in there, because Oakland was not scoring very much either, considering Gino just kept giving the Bears the ball. And I liked Ben's approach. And they pulled the win out, guys, and they pulled the win out in special teams. So all three phases on this football team look to me as if they've progressed, and each player and each unit's developed a little bit more and more, guys, each week. I don't know what the end result of that is. I don't know how much talent some of these players have, but if you can get the best out of them, you're if you can be the best team that this personnel can be, you might have a chance at actually winning more games than you anticipated as a fan, especially because I think Ben Johnson thinks he can ride this thing all the way to the playoffs, which I love. And that very much seems to me what his mentality, his attitude is. He believes in these guys, he believes in his team. You can see that, guys. That locker room speech after that Raiders game was incredible. So good things for the Bears, guys. But it's outside of just getting healthy. This and I don't know what's going on with Darnell Wright, but that's a as we saw in the first quarter of that game, it's a very, very important piece to this football team. They looked about half as good when he wasn't on the field. So that's a guy you really want to see out there as well. But I think personnel adjustments might be coming for this football team, guys. And obviously, everyone's going to think I'm referring to the left tackle because that's what the Bears have already announced. Theo Benedet will take over at that left tackle position for Braxton Jones. Braxton Jones played egregious football in that Raiders game. I mean, good for Ben Johnson and the staff doing something that we haven't seen the Bears coaches do in a long time. Make an adjustment, a personnel adjustment in a game when things aren't working. And it did. It paid dividends. The Bears were able to kind of remove Max Crosby from the game. Not, you're never going to do that entirely, but he wasn't completely wrecking the game once we saw the additions of Benedette moved over to left and um, Ozzy Trapillo playing on the right side. I don't know why I always forget his name. Um, and yeah, I thought even when Benedette came, it was playing on the right side and Braxton was on the left. As good as Benedette played, and I thought he was playing much better than Braxton Jones. Jones was just too much. I mean, there was no way that line was going to make up for his deficiencies. And I thought Benedette played better on the left side. Surprisingly, you don't often see that in a player, but he was able to handle Crosby when he moved over to left. When he was at right, he was getting beat as well as Braxton Jones. So the Bears figured it out, and it worked, guys. And Trapil looked pretty solid at right tackle as well. I mean, you're still hoping for Darnell Wright back. You don't want, he's a rookie. I don't know how long I want that kid in the starting role, but these things are improving. And obviously the offensive line is probably just as important as the quarterback in regard to progress because I mean I think it looks pretty apparent to me that Caleb Williams is going to be the best player Caleb Williams can be when he's got the time to throw the ball. He's got protection, guys. And we can't let this kid keep getting hit. I mean, we don't want this kid getting injured. He's starting to run the ball a little more now as well, guys. The fewer hits, the better. So yeah, but this roster position that I really wanted to talk about, guys, outside that left tackle position, is the linebacker position. It sounds like, and I want to say this, guys, these injury reports have been so broad. It's like Kyler Gordon might be back, and T.J. Edwards might be back, and Darnell Wright might be back, but all these guys were apparently dressed and ready to go in the last game as a contingency plan. So like I don't like Austin Booker. I didn't really hear anything about. I'm assuming he's coming back just because his 4-week IR sentence is complete, I guess I'll say. But um, the linebacker position to me is interesting. As soon as Noah Sewell had to step in as a rookie to replace TJ Edwards, he didn't actually replace TJ Edwards. He replaced Edmonds, and Edmonds took over Edwards' spot. Now, I don't know if Dennis Allen just feels that that's a more important spot on the field or if he just doesn't think Edmonds is a middle linebacker, and I think it's the latter. I think from the minute Dennis Allen became the defensive coordinator of this football team, he has been considering what he might be able to do with Tremaine Edmonds outside of being the guy in the middle of the field, especially wearing the green dot. This is actually something that the last coaching staff did with Tremaine Edmonds. They removed the play calling from him and gave it to Edwards because they said they needed him to think less and focus more. So, and I don't know, I believe Sewell has been wearing the green dot. That's what it looked like to me, especially in that Raiders game. It looked like he was commanding the defense on what play was next. But I'm wondering if TJ Edwards is your middle linebacker, guys. And I feel like he might be. And I'm wrong just as often as I'm right, guys. He could next week could come out. It could be the same old traditional set this team's been playing in for years. Edmonds in the middle, Edwards on the outside. But I don't believe Dennis Allen likes Tremaine Edmonds as a middle linebacker, and I think Edwards kind of attacks the ball a little more aggressively, and he's able to fill gaps better than Edmonds is, and it might actually benefit this team to move Edwards to middle linebacker and pick up where Noah Sewell left off. He should be calling the defense. He should. There's clearly an issue. We don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with Tremaine Edmonds. There's a lack of trust in this player now by two coaching organizations. So I don't know. I think he should remain probably on the outside. He hasn't looked great there either, but I thought last season in the middle was one of the worst seasons I've ever seen in my 37 years of life from the middle linebacker position in the Chicago Bears organization. Talking about some of the best players to ever do it. They paid this kid a lot as if he was going to be, the next staple at that position for this Chicago Bears team, the pedigree that position carries. You thought they're paying this guy like he's going to be, you know, comparable to this organization's previous linebackers at this position. And it did not look good last year to me, guys. I mean, the defensive line wasn't playing very well. The guards were getting to the second level. Edmonds was getting swallowed up, and he cannot disengage from a block. He's an athletic guy. He's not a super powerful guy, and the Bears kind of look the same. This defensive front concerns the hell out of me. They're not very good, so I don't know that Tremaine Edmonds is going to play any better for the remainder of this season. I think he should remain outside. I wouldn't be surprised if you do see Sewell alternate onto the field with Edmonds, and Sewell, Edwards, and Gordon would be on the field at the same time. And I think that actually might play out really well for Dennis Allen, considering the way he likes to use players. Uh, so yeah, I think that linebacker position is something worth looking at. And I don't know that it's just. I think everybody assumes that when Edmonds comes back, he'll when Edwards comes back, Edmonds will assume the position as the Mike linebacker. But I don't know if that's what's in the Bears' best interest. And I know Dennis Allen will know that for sure. So maybe some changes there, guys. I do think this. I do think you're going to see. I've been saying this for weeks. I think you're going to see some Jalen Jones playing on this defense. We are getting Kyler Gordon back, so there will be less of a necessity for him. But I don't know that Nashawn Wright has been the answer, and I think they might kind of just take a stab here and there. I don't know that Nashawn Wright is immediately on the bench during this Washington game when we come back from a bye, but they might start plugging players in. And Jones is a guy who hasn't really had a chance to show what he's got yet. But the secondary, I think, is good. I think this is a really good secondary, guys. I think it's a quality secondary without Jalen Johnson. I think that's the benefit of drafting the way they have. They've added talent. They've been aggressive in drafts to trade up to acquire talent on this secondary, and it's worked out for them. Between Kyle, there's a lot of injury. There's been a lot of injury in this secondary, and that's a problem, but you can't really project that when you're drafting players, especially since most of these guys were drafted pretty healthy. Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker, Tyreek Stevenson, who I believe he traded up for in the second round to draft, and Byard, you sign him free agency. He's not only been a leader on this football team, but he's playing some really quality, and he looks young. I mean, the guy looks like he's still moving at a young guy's pace. He's been in the league for a while. And Byard and Brisker back there have started to play better and better each week as well. So I think the secondary is still pretty loaded with talent. I think there's still going to be a handful for most. Tyreek Stevenson is playing out of his mind. This is going to be a tough secondary to play for, even some of the receiving cores we have on the way. And I understand who's on the way, guys. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, players like those. So I think Personnel adjustments and health are going to be the most important thing on this Bears team. Identifying your personnel, understanding which positions they serve best, and getting everybody back so you know what you've got. And I think that will improve this defense slightly. I don't think, it's a bottom of the league defense any longer. I do think they're going to get run on. I do think this football team's going to get run on, but I think they'll have the ability to protect or to play coverage pretty well. So maybe the defense is good enough to hold up against some of these teams that we're going to see in the near future here, guys. Not teams that aren't necessarily jumping off the page right now after a quarter of the season. So, but and then Ben Johnson's just got to install more. I think what I've seen from Caleb has been pretty good as long as like I said, as long as the guy is protected, as long as this offensive line can hold up, and as long as they can keep finding ways to do so if there is issues. Caleb's going to throw the ball pretty well, and I think that only gets better from here as well. Maybe start to install more. I don't know how much they drew back after training camp. They said they were going to throw everything at him, pull it all back, and pretty much just kind of layer it on him one thing at a time, based on what he's doing well and what he's not. So I think Caleb's responded really well to that. I'm sure Ben Johnson would agree. He seems like he's got command of this offense. He's played incredibly to me. I'm trying not to be biased here, guys, but when Caleb has the ability to get out of the pocket and make a play with his legs, I feel like he does so only when it's required to resort to that. I don't think that he's choosing to run after that Minnesota game. He kind of did. He didn't trust the line, and he didn't have much reason to. I thought they played poorly. But after that, you can see he's only really tucking and running when he feels like it's necessary. He's getting like 3 or 4 carries a game for like 15 to 20 yards. And, I think he's trying to stay within the structure of the play. He's keeping his eyes forward. He's trying to make the next read, even while he's evading pressure, even while he's on the move. And that could make Caleb a lethal player in this league because we know he has the arm talent. And yeah, that's going to get better from here. I have so much belief, guys, now in Ben Johnson after winning that game against Pete Carroll. It was a game of grit. I thought it came down to, you know, two really good coaches who were both just going to try to win that game until whoever had the ball last, and the Raiders did, and they had that game in the bag, and Blackwell was able to make an incredible play. So yeah, guys, I keep falling off track here. I think this bye week is important. I think it's important for Ben and Caleb to progress and install more. I think it's important for you to understand your personnel because that's getting better week by week. But I still don't think the rookie usage has been. I don't know. After the impact they made in the Dallas game, I would have thought you've seen more Luther Burden in the Vegas game. So I hope that you're going to see more of these guys, these young kids. Hopefully, Colston Loveland gets healthy, gets back on the field, and we see some packages designed for him, intentionally. That's the way I think they should start using these rookies because they are talented players, and you used high draft picks on them. There's no reason for these guys to sit on the bench. It's another thing that I think a bye week's important for is get these guys as much reps, get these guys on the field practicing. I know the Colston Loveland shows up early, leaves late. If he's healthy, if he's able to go, get these guys, get more installed for these rookies. Get more installed for all these rookies for sure. You drafted Colston Loveland with a top 10 pick. I don't see any other team in the league, guys, with a top 10 pick just sitting on it right now. So, and I know he got injured, but even prior to that, I thought his usage was a little lackluster. I thought Ben was going to have him on the field more often. And he is a guy who changes this offense. I still believe that he's a nightmare of a mismatch for just about anybody who's going to try to cover or defend him. So another important part of this bye week is getting these rookies installed to this offense. You drafted them for a reason. That's what makes you different. The two tight ends, the Colston Love and the Cole Kmet thing, is still to me, guys, what makes you different. I don't know if anybody guys watched QB School with JT O'Sullivan. He goes through the Bears games and he says the best personnel to have on the field is when the Bears have two of their tight ends on the field. Even when Smythe was out there, because Smythe is an incredible blocker. Still thought that, and I agree with him 100%. That's when your personnel is its strongest, and it's probably when you can present the only thing that no other team in the NFL can. You have these two tight ends that you can utilize who are both effective pass catchers. And I think that's going to play a nightmare for defenses too when Colston Loveland is back. That's why I think he's going to be effective, guys. Ben's going to be able to decoy a lot of these players, and he can change who it is each play. That's the benefit of having so much talent on your offense. So moving on, guys. Besides, I think that's just about it for the bye week. Because most importantly is health. Installing more of this playbook with the rookies, especially, and just knowing which personnel belong where. Because I think Tremaine Edmonds should remain outside. But I'm not a defensive coordinator. I'm not a coach of this football team. I do want to talk, guys, a little bit about the Bears' schedule moving forward. And when I put on the thumbnail, and I want to talk about the ceiling. And what's ironic, I said we get some things wrong, we get some things right. I don't know that I intentionally or any of us did on 4 stars, but it's looking like this Bears team could land exactly where you had them. If you had them at maybe 8 wins or even 9, they look like a team that might draw even through most of the season to me. Win one, lose one, win two, maybe lose. They seem like a team who's going to finish somewhere near 500. It's just which side of that do they fall on? I don't know. But I think if you're looking at this schedule, something happened in that Dallas game, and it might be the start of a lot of dominoes that I see falling here because this Bears team is getting very fortunate. And I hate to say this, and I don't mean it in any kind of malicious way, but a lot of flies are dropping on some of the teams that they're about to face in this near future, guys. They have got You got Lamar Jackson, who it looks like will be back, but I don't know how healthy he's going to be when he returns, and I don't know how, if is it the Bears game? Is it the first game where he's going to play again? Is that going to make an impact on how he performs? But the Commanders will have Jaden Daniels back, but he's going to be a little rusty, and he's already only a second-year player. I mean, this guy's basically an extension of a rookie. That's what he is. So, will Jaden Daniels be any better than the player that he was before he was injured? Because he didn't look very good to me, guys. And we all know the story of Cliff Kingsbury. This thing always, for some reason, regresses after 1 year and then it falls apart completely. They have the Saints after that. I don't really need to talk much about that, guys. I think their health is pretty much intact, but it doesn't matter anyways. They're a bunch of backups. And then they got the Ravens, which, like I said, Lamar Jackson, it looks like might be back for that game, but it'll be his first game back, and that's going to be a problem. And that Ravens team is decimated anyways. They have a bunch of injuries on defense. The defense hasn't played well regardless. I think their defense is now ranked almost dead last in the league. And the Chiefs, which I was telling the guys before that game, I think the Chiefs are going to handedly whip the Ravens' ass, and they did. And I think that's going to kind of be the story of this Ravens team's season, guys. Regardless of whether or not Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry are doing their thing, their defense is just not going to hold up against quality football teams. And I think by the time the Bears and Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams play that team, they're going to be a better offense than they are today. That's for sure. The Bears. So I believe that game is winnable, guys. I guess what I'm saying is the Bears' ceiling looks higher to me, not only because they've progressed as much as they have, but they're playing teams that are just falling on misfortune again and again and again. Like I said, CeeDee Lamb being out of that Cowboys game, we whipped him up. We beat him up pretty good, guys. But that might have been the difference in that football game. It might have. Who knows how that game goes if he's in there? He is a game changer. He is a very big impact player. He makes plays. The Bears were very fortunate, and now you're going to face a Ravens team that might have Lamar, might not. It's looking like he will. It's looking like he'll play. Then you have a Bengals team with no Joe Burrow. I mean, how is that? I don't know that this. I've there's a pretty good argument to claim that this Browning kid is a solid backup in the NFL, but there's a reason he is a backup, and only that is he is not looking like a player that knows how to find playmakers. To me, I mean, if you're a quarterback who gets to step into, I mean, I know this offensive line is bad. They are, and Joe Burrow has, you know, godlike talent where he can be effective and efficient behind a pretty bad offensive line. But I mean, you really just got to get the ball to some really quality players if you're the quarterback on this football team. So I mean, I don't know if they're just drawing it up poorly for this kid. You're not getting guys open quickly. But if you're Browning, you just throw the ball to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And I think it's a better situation than most if you're going to step in as a backup quarterback in the NFL. And then after that, guys, so yeah, the Bengals game to me is very winnable because we know their defense didn't improve very much from what it's been for the last couple of years. If anything, it got worse. Um, and I don't know, Shamar Stewart hasn't looked like a very good NFL product to me so far. So I think the Bengals are a beatable team. I think they will be that for the remainder of their season, guys. And then you go, or the Giants come to Chicago, and they just lost considerably one of the best maybe the best playmaker in the NFL. I mean, a guy who is basically undefendable, and Malik Neighbors. We know that I believe he tore a ligament. He's done for the year. That's huge. I mean, if you're a Bears, you're going to play a rookie quarterback. The Giants have decided to move forward with Jackson Dart, a rookie quarterback without probably his only real quality weapon on his football team. And I'm not telling you guys that the Bears beat the Commanders, the Saints, the Ravens, Bengals, and Giants. What I'm telling you is most of these opponents got considerably more beatable. And that could play in Ben Johnson's favor. And he's going to face some quality coaches. I do think Dan Quinn's a good coach. I do think John Harbaugh is a good coach. But I still think you could win. You could win 4 of these games. I projected the Bears to finish throughout the 6-game stretches at like 3-3, but things just keep looking better. And I hate to say that again. I don't try to find fortune in other teams' injuries, but it is beneficial to the Bears, guys, and it does shine a kind of a positive light on things moving forward. I would say that once you get to the Vikings game where you're going to Minnesota, things start to get rough again. So if you can finish with a let's say 4-2 record over those 6 games, it might be the only thing that makes the difference in your season. You get the Steelers after that, after the Vikings, the Eagles, the Packers twice, the Niners, the Lions, and you get the Browns. So maybe you can beat the Browns, guys. But you got to win some of these games coming up here soon, and expect to lose a few on the back half of this season. And I want to say this, guys, in relation to the Bears ceiling. I think that it's important that you're losing games, and I think this is the Bears ceiling. I think they can potentially be this team. It's important that you're losing games strictly because the team across from you is just more talented than you are. I think that's huge. No self-inflicted wounds. You're not doing this to yourself. It's not, penalties, pre-snap penalties. It's not anything. Oh, what's going on?
Oh man,
What's going on, Dustin?
I got home and everybody's asleep, so thought I'd
Yeah,
jump
for
on.
sure,
Saw y'all
man.
in by yourself.
Dustin, it's always good to see you, man. I appreciate you joining me.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm
I
here for a
talked a
little
little bit
bit.
about what the Bears should try to accomplish over this bye week. I said, majority is health, but also knowing your personnel and where players belong on your roster. There's a question I want to ask you about that too. And then Ben's just installing more offense for Caleb. It looks like Caleb's getting a hold of things pretty quickly and getting these rookies more involved in some packages for this football team moving forward. But I wanted to ask you, Dustin, the left tackle is going to be a thing that everybody's talking about. Benedet's going to be replacing Braxton Jones. We're going to see how this team operates with a different left tackle in the thick of it too. And I wonder, do you think is the linebacker another
I'm
position that?
Sam O. Sorry.
Yeah, chat's been awfully quiet, man. Unfortunately, because I'm on my own here, guys. I could use some stuff here. Um, yeah, and Vizzo
Okay.
just I did forget to read. He said Caleb will keep us in a lot of games. Yeah, I agree with you. Ben Johnson and Caleb together will keep this team competitive. I think, man.
All right, so you're just floundering here. Okay, let's figure this out.
But so do we think, aside from the left tackle position that we now know has been publicly announced that is going to change, does TJ Edwards come back onto this football team as the middle linebacker and Tremaine remain outside? Do you think?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think Tremaine Edmonds has been very good. I think he's been really awful in the run game. But you also, at the same time, you can't have Edwards and Sewell out there because that becomes a problem. If you're talking about Braxton being benched and making a correlation between, like, well, Ben Johnson has said, the best players are going to be on the field. It's about competition, and he's showing that with this decision. That's the right decision. I think it's the decision in some way, we all expected that Braxton Jones wasn't going to make it at left tackle. I mean, those Easter eggs were being dropped all off season. But Tremaine Edmonds, I don't know if it makes a difference if he's at the middle or the outside, Brandon. I don't know how much of a difference it makes to me.
Can I ask you
I
this?
mean, but if TJ Edwards, the thing about TJ Edwards, man, that you got to remember with that middle linebacker position is I feel like Edmonds is better at getting from sideline to sideline in terms of his athletic ability, which you need more from that position. And I mean, generally the outside linebacker is a guy that's going to clean up tackles, a guy that's going to be there in the run. And Edmonds is not that guy. He's shown that.
That's what I was just about to say. Is it possible, Dustin, that Edmonds isn't making an impact really anywhere on this football team? They're not defending
Is
the
it
tight end
possible?
all
Yeah.
that. They're not defending the tight end all that well. They're ranked 18th currently in the league at defending the tight end position. I mean,
Alan says you can't put Edmonds back inside. I mean, he's got a couple interceptions.
I mean, you're right. He is a little bit quicker on his feet for sure. And I don't know what these guys' 40s are. And I'm not talking about necessarily like speed. I mean, he is quicker for sure at reacting, going, vertically more so than Edwards is. Edwards is just able to hit something with a lot of steam.
I got to be honest, Brandon. I don't know enough about this team. I don't know enough about this defense, which hasn't looked good, to really talk about this in an intellectually honest way. To be quite, like, I have no idea what Dennis Allen is thinking in regards to this.
There's some context though, because Dennis Allen was moving Edmonds outside even when Edwards was healthy during training camp.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand.
This is not something that, that's what I was asking the chat earlier. Do you think that it's set in stone that they go the traditional route, the way these guys have played for years? Or do you think that Dennis Allen has seen something in Tremaine Edmonds that implies that this guy can't be the guy he doesn't want him wearing the dot. He doesn't want this guy in the middle of the field. He doesn't want him commanding.
Well, he didn't have the dot last year, and he was.
No, he didn't, and that's what I mean. Now,
he was in the middle.
I've said that earlier.
You don't have to be in the middle.
Two different coaching staffs have not really trusted this guy a whole lot, and I don't know what that implies about how Dennis Allen feels about him, if anything. But it looks already like Dennis Allen's thinking maybe he's better somewhere else, which implies to me. Maybe he's not as good as maybe he's not as good as he should be where he is. That's the reason you start asking that question.
Samo says he doesn't diagnose plays well. He doesn't beat blocks, and he doesn't play downhill against the run. I mean, against the run, he is god awful, and it's about the angles that he takes and diagnosing those plays and understanding where the ball's going. And he always seems to get there late or overshoot it and just be out of position to make the tackle. We saw the best linebacker in football tonight in that game make a huge play to end that game. The Niners won on a fourth down stop.
I was thinking that myself when that game was ending.
Tremaine Edmonds would never do that. He would never be in that spot at that time, at the right time to make that play.
I didn't get to do a recap of the Thursday night game because doing that by I don't know. I was like, man, I'll just skip that tonight. But I mean, who runs the fucking ball directly to Fred Warner on a 4th and 1 to win or lose the game? When they ran it that way, I was like, oh,
well, they had been getting pushed. They had been getting pushed with the run game on that Niners defense that whole second half, man. So I don't blame McVay for going to that. But that Niners defense stood on its head, man. And the Alfred Collins forced fumble, Jesus Christ. I mean, that was a hell of a game. I was so jacked for the Niners.
Last week we talked about how good those games are, man. And just the when they get to like the most the most pivotal points of those games, they just keep showing Shanahan and McVay, different shots of these guys, and it just feels so like climactic. I don't know, because it's like
my favorite part.
You're talking about two of the best to ever do it playing chess. My favorite part
is when they're showing the coach that's not calling the plays in the moment, and you just see them. Nope, this play's no good. Scratching itself.
Well, it's like
they're just thinking about when they get back on offense.
It's like these two of the most intelligent individuals when it comes to how to direct a game, playing chess with one another, and we all just get to sit there on the sideline and watch it as much as
I would have put the ball.
It's awesome. I love those games.
I would have put the ball in Stafford's hands. He was kind of carving up that
Yeah, I
defense.
would have too. I would have
Yeah,
too. And
yeah.
and if I did
But
run
Kyron was getting pushed
if I
too.
ran the ball, I probably wouldn't have done it directly up. I would have done something,
I
some
mean, you
sort of.
just wanted a yard. What I like is that they weren't some bitches like the Packers and the Cowboys this past week, where they were just like happy with a tie.
Yeah,
McVay was
yeah.
not going to
And
settle for a fucking
they're
tie.
I listen. They're 3-2. They look really good. Stafford looks really good. I think that's still a playoff football team, man. I really believe that. I think their defense is solid. They've got some. I don't know. I forget the kid's name. The linebacker who's like first in the league in sacks.
For who? The Rams?
The Rams. Yeah.
I mean, well, they
He
got
had five. He had 5 sacks in the first quarter of the season.
Kobe Turner, and they got I mean, Landman is one of their linebackers, but he's not a sack artist. Linebacker has 5 sacks. Jared Verse, Kobe Turner.
I don't know who it is.
I don't know. You would do this all the time, Brandon. You like bring up guys and
Well, I think I might
know their
actually
names.
have it. Hold on. Oh no, I have. Hold on.
Williams was beating Winters in
I have it
the
here.
past game, Samo. He was carving up that Niners defense in terms of man coverage in the past. Yeah, it was hard to watch because they showed the one thing that I can do without an NFL football is the win probability. Get that shit off my screen. Like when they showed in the third quarter, the Niners. Byron Young. Okay, he's a BY. Yes, he's the other guy. He's like a more of a hybrid line. He's an edge rusher. I wouldn't call him a linebacker, to be honest.
Well, that's what he's listed at, man.
I understand, but
when I saw the post that said
rusher.
he was leading, I don't watch the Rams too often. When I saw a post that said he was leading the league, it said linebacker, so that's what I'm calling him.
Yeah, no, he's just like high. I mean, they even put Jared Verse at linebacker from time. That's a very creative defense. But when they put the win probability up there, and it's the Niners, 76% win probability, and I'm like, oh, this is fucked. The Niners are up 17-7 at the time or something like that, and I'm like, yeah, there's
well, if
no
the Rams
way.
get that first,
no, they were up 20-14.
If they get that first down, they win that game.
No doubt.
They have 4 shots at like the 2-yard line.
The way the Niners D was playing, that still could have ended with a field goal. But I don't think either coach would have settled for a tie.
They were giving Stafford a lot of time. I'm with you, man. They should have thrown the damn
because
ball.
They have no Bosa.
He wasn't pressured very much. Yeah, I would let him throw the ball. I thought that was the way they were going to go. I thought McVay. I was like, oh, he's going to draw something crafty here. But not so much.
What I find amazing is that Alfred Collins got his hand on that ball, and as Samuel points out, he had fumbled at the goal line, and Kyron Williams had 5 fumbles last year. That's kind of his MO. So the fact that Collins made that play, that was amazing. The Niners should have lost that game the way it went, but they found a way to win. A couple thoughts on it though, since we got into it. Niners are 4-1 and they're 2-0 in their division now. Without Brock Purdy. Mac Jones is 3-0 as the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. And this is probably why, if you're a Kyle Shanahan-led team, you don't pay a quarterback the big dollars. Like if Brock Purdy had sat out this past Sunday against the Jaguars, I think the Niners win that game. You could have tried to save Purdy for this game tonight, this Thursday night game, or even let him get healthy. But like, Shanahan just finds ways to get it done with whoever the quarterback is. So investing the money in Brock Purdy on that team specifically feels like a mistake to me. It felt like a mistake when they did it. And I love Brock Purdy, but Shanahan is the reason Brock Purdy is who Brock Purdy is.
But they have also not necessarily financially does them, but they've invested.
Yeah, when you see the Bears got a 99% win probability and they lose. Get that shit out of here. Stop showing me that stat.
They've invested. Yeah, that's annoying for sure. And whenever you see it, you're like, we're gonna lose.
Oh yeah, this is fun.
I don't know why it immediately provides that thought in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. The best thing about Shanahan, man, is the Niners in general is they invest in their, and I don't mean financially, they invest in their backup quarterback position. It's important to them. It's a guy who can run Shanahan's system.
Shanahan gets a guy that he wants.
Play well enough in that system to win them football games, and that's always been some. And look at I'm sorry, I'm not trying to pick on the guy. Look at this Bengals team, and.
Yeah, if Shanahan had Jake Browning, he'd look like Brock Purdy.
Yeah, and Dustin. So another thing that you missed is we're talking about the Bears' ceiling, and I was
Niners are 4-1. I'm just going to repeat that.
I was going to get into Yeah, I think we all picked him at like, I don't know, we picked him at, I think I picked him with 13 wins or something like that, man. But I want to get into the Bears, you know, what can prevent them from kind of falling off the rails in this thing, but more importantly, how beneficial and how important, what is that? Oh,
It's
nice.
a Niners.
Nice.
long gnome.
Niners gnome.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
sit here with me
It
for the rest
reminds
of the
me
show.
of that. Reminds me of those old, was it insurance commercials or something?
I don't know.
Oh, this
Stop
next
bringing up
6 game
shit you don't know.
stretch, man. I mean, everybody knows it was like a British gnome known as a stupid.
Okay,
British.
I remember what you're talking about now.
It was like a vacation thing or
It was
something.
like
I don't
for
know.
home
Yeah.
insurance, the gnome home insurance or some shit. Yeah, I got you.
Oh, Bears
I
Commanders.
did not help you on this show. I just want to make it clear. You were better off by yourself.
No, never that. It's never that. It's rough by yourself, man. You just start to forget shit for some reason. Bears Commanders. You've got Jaden Daniels coming back, so they're going to be a little healthier than they've been. But he didn't look very good when he was playing, Dustin. So I mean, we all know that this is a winnable game for the Bears because both these teams are kind of in the same boat. It's just which team chose the better guys. You know what I mean? Is it Daniels and Quinn, or is it Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams? I think this is going to be a grit game as well as the Raiders was, I believe. But I want to go through this because then you get the Saints. Do you agree that the Commanders game is a very winnable game for the Chicago Bears, regardless, even if
I don't
Jaden
know
Daniels
what's
plays?
very winnable for the Bears, dude. That's my problem. I don't know what this team is yet, and I don't
Well,
think they know what
you
they
thought they
are
could
yet.
win on the level that they did against the Raiders. So I mean, you have a good projection of what they.
Well,
I think.
just real quick, speaking of the Commanders, Monday, October 13th, Bears play the Commanders. We're going to be at River Street, live podcast. $3 Tall Boys, Coolers Light, and no, sorry, Coolers Tall Boys and Miller Lights. Half price wings. What? 102 North River Street in East Dundee. We'll all be there. It's going to be a blast. Come out, have some fun with us. We'll watch the Bears Commanders game together and hopefully get this win that we're talking about. Go ahead, bud.
Well, if the Commanders, which I do believe, I think that's a team. Like I said, I think they're both young quarterbacks teams and they have a system that's existing for another year here. But I think Kingsbury always, for some, I said this earlier, the Kingsbury thing always kind of seems to start to fall apart. I think that it's going to be a tough game for the Bears, but I think it's a game they can win. I think they can. This Commanders team doesn't look to me like they're a team that's just going to be running people over.
Their defense can be gotten, and Caleb Williams performs against bad defenses.
And Jaden Daniels has struggled, and sometimes the sophomore quarterback just does that. I don't know if he'll get it back. He's a very good player. He might just get this thing back on the rails, but I don't know.
Jaden Daniels can beat you, dude. If he's throwing 59%, he can still.
But
beat
he's not.
you.
He's not playing good football.
Well, he's had a very limited sample size this season, right? And he's going to get into a groove. Just like
I like Jaden Daniels. You know this,
Caleb
man.
These two guys are good quarterbacks, man. So like
I,
you're going to see Jaden Daniels start to figure it out, and this offense is going to need to be what carries the Commanders in the same way that this offense is going to need to be what carries the Bears, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
so
I don't know
think,
that it will for the Commanders.
I think you'll see them get on track in some way. I mean, Terry McLaurin being out is a big deal for them. If he's not back,
so that's what
be a problem.
Yeah,
right?
I think I think Terry McLaurin and Noah Brown will both be out for that football game. So they're very thin at the receiver position. Then you have the Saints. I don't think we need to talk about injuries on that team because they are a bunch of backups. That's what that fucking football team is.
You see this comment from Samuel? Hold your thought for a second. You see this comment from Samuel? He says, we have to figure out how to stop the run and we have to figure out how to run the ball. In the NFL, that's like saying we have to figure out how to inhale and then we have to figure out how to exhale. Like you have to do those things to survive. So the Bears definitely do, and that's easier said.
And Dennis Allen's aware of that, and he's
I could fucking hope so.
Yeah, and he's gonna do whatever he can to stop the run before he even starts to consider this pass rush, which is another thing you need to consider as a fan. Is it probably getting better anytime soon? The Saints, Dustin, like I said, bunch of backups. The Ravens, if Lamar Jackson is back, but it's his first game back, the Bears could still be at a slight advantage but Lamar is still a tough player no matter what.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're talking about Derrick Henry and Lamar,
but I want to get to the other side of the ball, where not only have the Ravens been they've
been the worst defense in the NFL,
just absurdly bad. they are injured at every level. They're literally injured at all three levels of that defense. So I think that Bears team could exploit the defense of the Ravens just like any other team has. What I'm trying to say to you, Dustin, is this next 6-game stretch, even though majority of it's on the road, you're how I introduced this segment is that the injury of CeeDee Lamb was the first of many dominoes to fall here in the Bears' fortune. And I don't want to call it fortune
Their
that another
favorite.
player's injured, but
Yeah.
I mean, you're playing these teams at their worst. The Bengals are not going to have Joe Burrow. They're going to have Jake Browning, and the New York Giants aren't going to have what I probably consider their only weapon, not only their best, but they don't really have a whole. I mean, I
Brandon,
thought they.
we can sit here and do this, man, and I get it. And we went through this on Monday, and I think we all kind of fell on
Well, no,
three.
we went through how
We all kind of felt like if they finish that 3-3, that 6-game stretch, then you'll feel pretty good about it. But the reality is, man, these are NFL teams. That Ravens game is on the road. That Bengals game is on the road.
I know the
they're
possibility of
back
the
to
Bears
back.
losing these.
Okay, well
games.
then why don't you make a point so I can actually comment on what you're
Well,
talking about? Because you still haven't.
My point is
made
these
one.
next
It's been a
6
while.
games are going to be the games in which you have to probably win more than you lose if you want any. And Ben Johnson wants to
And
win
they'll
this
probably
season.
go 3-3 if they're lucky.
Well, I said 3-3, and I said I think with the injuries applied to these teams, you could possibly go 4-2, but you can go 2-4.
Yeah, for sure. You can possibly go 6-0. You can possibly go 0-6.
No, I don't know. They're not gonna go 6-0,
you could. The Saints are moving the ball pretty well. I don't want to discount any of these teams, and I don't want to give too much
Saints
credit
are an
to a
NFL
Bears
football team, man,
that can't run the ball or stop the run,
but
Brandon. That's
you called the
concerning.
Saints the worst team in the NFL. If Ben
They
Johnson can't handle
are.
that, we've got problems.
But there's that saying, any given Sunday, man.
Yeah.
I will pick the Bears to beat the Saints, I would imagine, and I expect that they should.
I think that
Ben Johnson is still a rookie head coach, and this defense is still struggling, man.
But there's no point needed, man. That's what we're talking about is projection. Like I project that the Bears could play some of these teams at their worst because of the injuries.
I'm trying to respond to you, Brandon. I'm trying to respond to you in what I'm saying. That's what I'm doing.
Do you feel differently about this schedule now than you did before the season started after the first quarter and the way these teams have not only suffered injuries but performed in general? None of them. The Ravens are not the team that we anticipated they would be when we projected the Bears' schedule to go the way it would. The Bengals are
but the Ravens are
not going to be the team.
Brandon, the Ravens are going to figure it out. They're going to get better.
I don't know. You still say they're a playoff team. I find that
the odds are very highly stacked against them. But even if
14%.
Even if they don't make the playoffs, Brandon, they can still figure it out, and they can still be good enough to beat the Bears when the Bears have the one of the leakiest run defenses in the NFL, man. And all they do is run the ball.
So you don't feel you don't feel that Joe Burrow's injury makes the Bengals
if the Bears
the game in the Bears' favor.
Because it's about the Bears, Brandon. It's not about this schedule. If the Bears are giving me more confidence through these first 4 games, that would mean a lot more than what their schedule is in front of them.
Well, but it is about schedule to me because you have to be able to progress as the season goes on, and it's probably better to do so against. You're going to progress more, I think, against the teams that you should be more dominant than based on the talent you have. That's what I think. I think you should be able to progress. You should be able to, like they did against Dallas.
Are the Bears able to
use more?
Are the Bears a better team than the Minnesota Vikings?
No.
Are the Bears a better team than the Las Vegas Raiders?
Roster, yes.
Okay. But that game was dominated by the Raiders for a good stretch. And this is my point.
Yeah, but that's one of those games where.
Again, let me draw the focus to the Bears for a second. Who are they? What is their identity? Do you know right now? Do you know?
What do you mean? They're a team that relies heavily on.
Ben Johnson said at halftime,
all of the pass catchers.
Establish our identity. What is that to you?
Move the ball, man. They moved we already talked about this on Monday. That team, and I said this when I talked about why Ben Johnson it gave me the relief that he's been giving me as a head coach. What he did in the second half, I said this, man. After he gave the little speech, the halftime speech that everybody drew attention to, he came out and he played a very different style of football than he did in the first half. He wasn't going for the big shot. He wanted Caleb to get rid of the ball quicker, and he wanted the ball. He wanted the dink and dunk. He wanted the 5 yard gains, the intermediate passes, the quick routes. And I thought that proved effective against the Raiders, especially on that last drive. He
So
didn't
is
go.
that how they're winning football games? I mean, each game is a
Well,
different thing in and of
that's
itself.
how that Detroit team won football games before he really started to crack that thing wide open. Yeah.
Okay, so
It's
that's their identity to you, is the passing game,
their identity is a team.
short, quick
Their
passing
identity,
game?
no, their identity to me is a team that's progressing and playing, and that's going to be able to use play action in order to pass the ball. I think they're going to run the ball well enough to continue to be effective passing the
Okay.
ball because Ben Johnson schemes players open, and Caleb Williams is a good player, dude.
Let me say
Caleb
this.
Williams is your identity, Dustin. Right now, that's your identity.
Okay, well, that's a much better answer. And
A franchise quarterback
you could have got there a lot
as
quicker.
far as you're concerned, the team, a franchise quarterback is your identity.
Okay, so
The
Caleb
same
Williams.
as Joe Burrow, the same as Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, so Caleb Williams is your identity. The Bears were impressive in terms of finding a way to grit out a win on Sunday against the Raiders on the road. That was impressive, no doubt. But right now, when I look at them, their identity is a big question mark. They're terrible against – can I finish my statements, please? They're terrible against the run. They're terrible at establishing the run. Those are two things, as we just sussed out, you have to have in order to consistently win in the NFL and be successful. They're really good on third down, but Caleb is – the Bears have the second longest yards to go on third down. Hold on. The Bears have the second longest yards to go on third down as of right now. It's like 8.5 yards to get a first down on third down. Caleb is throwing them into first down. So, yes, you're right. Right now, that is their identity. How sustainable is that when you're 8.5 yards to first down from third down?
That's just what your identity is with the franchise quarterback.
It's not sustainable. Brandon, the answer is it's not sustainable. That is not a sustainable formula to win football games against average teams.
Run the ball.
Brandon.
Well, I think it's important that it's important that you saw the first half of this show, man, because I didn't pitch the Bears
this is different now. We're talking about something else. I
want to clarify something before you, because I had the Bears. What I said early in the show is I believe the Bears continue to draw even, win, lose, win, lose.
Brandon,
but I think it depends upon what side of 500 they fall on and how this season ends. Is it going to be?
I'm not trying to poke holes in a point you're making. I'm just making my points. So it's not like I feel like we're on two opposite ends of the coin.
Yes,
But the question that you asked was, do I feel better about their schedule these next 6 games based on what has happened to other teams? And my answer to that question is no, because I'm not focused on those other teams. I'm focused on this team and what they're doing to get better and give me confidence in them that they can beat any team any Sunday. That's my answer. So, yes, the road does look smoother ahead, but that is not the way to football games in the NFL.
Well, and I still have the Bears exactly where I had them. I project them at 9-8, but I do think this, Dustin, they have progressed. And this is what I wanted to talk about, so we can move into the next segment. I
was into something here, though, because the identity of the Bears is important, Brandon.
Yes, and
I don't think they have one right now. And like you said, the best answer is Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. That's the best answer.
And that's what you knew it was going to be.
But you hoped for some different things. You hoped for DeAndre Swift to have a better season with an
you should have known that wasn't.
But hope is what football fans do, man, especially in the offseason. But with the improved offensive line and guys that have been solid in the run, you're not getting it, right? So that's not happening. And then you have these extended yards to go on third downs that you're not going to keep expecting Caleb to throw out of. And the other thing that we didn't talk about, Caleb Williams is your identity. His accuracy is still an issue. He's still on the lower end of accuracy in the NFL, Brandon. So if you keep relying on him to get you those first downs, to throw you into a game, to throw you into winning a game, you're going to get mixed results and you'll never really establish an identity at all.
Well,
that is my
you also have to understand that in the NFL, man, the season keeps going no matter what's going on with you and your team. If Bears can't fix the run, if it's because they just don't have the personnel to do it, which I believe is the situation that they're in. That's what I personally believe. I think they wanted to draft a running back. They tried to draft a running back higher. cards didn't play. I still believe if Ashton Genty was there at the 10th pick,
That's
Ashton
what they
Genty
wanted.
would be
Yeah.
on the Chicago Bears. And
And the Raiders would have been
now
better
they're a
off
team
drafting
that, and I
someone else
think
too.
Ben Johnson knew this before the season started, based on the fact that he didn't get a running back that he wanted, and he didn't get a running back that can carry this load on 3 downs. He didn't get a running back that can carry the load at all in regards to running the football, because I think DeAndre Swift is still a much better receiver than he is a running back, and they don't really utilize that. That needs to be utilized more, to be honest. But you knew your team's identity was going to be Caleb Williams and the weapons that you've added on this football team, Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland and Luther Burden and DJ Moore and Roman Dunes. You knew that was the strength of your team. You knew
No,
that.
but yeah, but you
And
also
yes,
knew
you
that
do
you needed
depend
to
on
commit
you
to
do
the
depend
run
on
to
you
establish the
depend
play
on a
action.
defense being honest, without a doubt. When you're running a play action, you need a defense to be honest.
And if
You
you can't
need
establish the
you
run,
need
the play
you
action
need a
kind of
defense
falls
to
to the wayside.
believe that you will run the ball.
And Ben Johnson has done that. He's committed
Yes.
to the run. He's been running 28,
Yes.
29 times a game
He's
at a
been running
3
about, I
yard
think it's
per
now like
average clip.
45%, I
Yeah,
believe, to pass.
I said that in the offseason, he will stay committed to the run, regardless of anything, because he needs the play action in his offense to hit the big plays. All I'm saying is that when you have the question marks of Caleb Williams' accuracy, you have the question marks of your third down, the third down to go yards being so high, and you have the question marks of your run defense being so bad and your run offense being so bad, it's hard to establish an identity that's sustainable in terms of winning in the NFL. I personally think the Bears were a better team than the Vikings on that Monday night game. You know, I think that showed. They were finding a way to, especially with JJ McCarthy, because it wasn't even close. You know,
I don't know. I think
they were
what
finding a
happened-
way to get
I
pressure.
think
They
what
were
happened with
finding a
that-
way to perform on defense and
I
stop the
think what
run.
happened with that pass rush against the Bears is going to happen all over again. I think that the Vikings are really good at getting pressure on a quarterback. This Bears offensive line looks improved. They look better, but they still look like when they're playing
Well,
a line loaded with players like that, like the Giants.
well,
they
a big
aren't
part of
going
that,
to-
Brandon, has been
every offensive line is going to.
Brandon. A
That's
big part of that has been Braxton Jones, though, in terms of letting.
All
up
right,
that
so
pressure.
let's give Mike, because I want to give our perspective here at the bare minimum on this. Theo Benedet, you weren't here. I touched on it a little bit. I didn't dive into it too much. There's a lot of rejoice for this, Dustin, and I don't know it's so much the name Theo Benedet that makes people feel better, or the fact that Braxton
thought we
Jones
were on a
isn't
good
on
topic.
the field anymore.
Braxton
What-
Jones. I just felt like we were in a good groove there with what we were talking about. Do you feel like we sussed that out enough in terms of this Bears identity? And again, your point makes sense that the road does look smoother ahead. I just want to button that up a little bit and just
Well,
make
not
sure.
just that. The Bears will.
To me,
the
it's about
Bears. The Bears have proved to me that they'll continue to improve regardless of here. So this is another thing, man.
Well, Ben Johnson said it himself, Brandon. They took some big steps back on Sunday.
The culture is changing here.
You can't ignore that.
And the thing,
and you can't ignore that either. The culture is changing. Yes.
This is what I said before you came in, man. I could see the Bears being a team that's good enough to lose only because of talent. I see the Bears being a team that can lose a football game just because the team on the other side of the line is better football team top to bottom than they are.
So disciplined and executing.
But a team that doesn't shoot themselves in the foot, a team that doesn't lose games on their own behalf, a team that doesn't do things that this Bears team did under the previous coaching staff. I don't think that's this team anymore. I think this team, we just saw something, Dustin, that made me change. Once again, it gave me a revelation for what Ben Johnson might be as a head coach, because we just saw a football game that the Bears almost always lose.
That the Bears shouldn't have won. The Bears really shouldn't have won that game.
That's my point. We were finally the team. The Raiders were the Bears of old in that game. That's how the Bears lose football games. We won a football game by one player.
100%. There's no denying
play. And
the culture shift is real.
These guys believe in Ben, and Ben Johnson handed that guy a game ball, and the locker room was going nuts. We didn't see videos like that either. I think this team will improve. I think they'll figure their personnel out more and more. I think they'll get rookies more involved, and I think this team is much better if Colston Loveland and Luther Burden are on the football field. And I think that, yes, the schedule is falling in their favor in regards to what's happening in the NFL right now. Just a ton of injuries, guys, and they're happening majority to the teams that the Bears have on their schedule.
But my only point to that,
and I don't want to celebrate that, but it gives you a better outlook. It does to me.
My only point to that will be that if they make the mistakes that they made on Sunday, if they can't protect the quarterback, if their game plan is not working, if they can't establish the run and they can't stop the run, they will lose to a Saints team. They will. Like that can and will happen.
I guess, yes. Now that we've seen them, you can dissect those things a little more for sure, because we didn't know before the season how effective these things would be. Stopping the run, I didn't think they were going to be able to stop the run. I said that many times. I did think the run game was going to be a little better with the trifecta of players that you went into the season with, and we really only seen one guy.
Well, and also
So
with the offensive line improved and a better game plan,
yeah.
those things
Well,
would naturally lend themselves
DeAndre
to the run
Swift
game
was going
being
to be
better.
relieved of this cowbell. Like, he's not this guy, and I think
Except
you're
it's the
actually
exact
not
opposite.
only you're not only doing what the other coaches, what everybody does with this. This guy gets played like a starter, and then he gets discarded, and I think he could
Because you
he
have
could
expectations for him
he
that he
could
can't
he
reach.
could
Yeah,
spend a
yeah.
long tenure on a football team if he was used
If
like
he
an
found a
like an
role and
Eckler or something, where he's catching
they
the ball
used him in
more
the right
often
way.
than running the ball. Yeah, and it always seems to go this way with this poor kid. I don't think DeAndre Swift's got anything to do with the fact that he's been a bouncing ball in the NFL. Like, the guy has a very, very, very effective skill. If you use it appropriately, he can be one of the biggest impact players in the NFL. He can turn a 5-yard carry into a 50-yard touchdown, but you've got to be creative in how you use him, and he can't be on the field all the damn time. And
That
every team that
highlights
has him uses him.
that highlights a huge misstep in terms of the Bears offseason and not finding that running back that could take that load off him for sure.
And
So, I mean,
identifying personnel was one of my bye week achievements. That's something this Bears team needs to be better at. If they're just so here, let's get into. And I did agree with you, man. That conversation was going a really good way, and I think we did kind of like. I can see your defense is correct. The Bears are not a team that we're aware. We don't know anything about the Bears. We really don't. The Bears still finding things out about the Bears. So
we know the Bears are tough and gritty. I think after Sunday, and we know that Caleb can win you a game with his arm after
yeah,
the previous
but you're
game.
right, because if I'm implying that the Bears need to figure out their personnel over the bye week, then you're right. The Bears don't know who the Bears are, and we don't know who
I
the
don't
Bears
think they do yet either. So
are.
I think that's a
But
process, and you
let's
could
get
lose some games in that process that you should probably win. Is all I'm saying.
let's dive into that Theo Benedet thing really really quickly, because I've heard some rejoice and some praise for this, and like I said, I don't know that it's so much the name of the guy that's stepping into this position. I think it's the guy that's coming off, and Theo Benedet's a player who was on this football team last year. We can negate that. This coaching staff, especially Chris Morgan, had no vision. He had no idea how to use personnel and when to change them. But Theo Benedet, man, was on this football team for the first quarter of the season. And Dustin, you and I have talked many times about how this was going to work, and it's going the way we predicted it would. But I don't want to get too excited over a guy that
No.
couldn't earn this job 4 weeks ago, and now he's the starter because they looked slightly better for a half of a game. Like, I'm not saying that Braxton Jones shouldn't be removed. What I'm saying is, don't expect great strides at the left. This is still going to
The
be the
left tackle
position
position is
that's
not fixed.
exploited by
It's
every
not
good.
fixed.
Yes, every good edge rusher is still going to exploit this position. I hope that he's like Kyle said last night. I thought Kyle said it well. If he's 2% better, then he's better than the last guy, and that's true.
Well,
But I don't know that it's something we should be like. We should expect this to be some turning point in the Bears' progression, because I just don't
well,
think that's the
the,
effect it's going to have.
the way you started that statement is the source of excitement that a Bears fan can find. Is that the coaching is better this year? You have Rocher as the offensive line coach, and you know that he's about his business,
Yes.
and you know that Ben Johnson is not going to accept mediocre to shit play. He will make a move. That's what there is to be excited about.
Yeah,
To
we
me,
didn't do this a year ago. We didn't. We
yeah.
just didn't do things like these. I mean,
So like the
it's
fact that Braxton Jones is benched, that sends a message to all your other players. It's step up your fucking play or sit the fuck down. That's the message.
well,
And that's an important message to send to all
and
your players because it keeps them motivated and it keeps them working. Braxton Jones has been bad. We've watched it for 3 years. We all knew this was coming. Do I rule out the possibility that Braxton Jones ends up back as the starting left tackle because of poor play by Benedet or because of an injury. No, I do not rule that out. I said on Monday, I think this will be a revolving door of mediocrity at the left tackle position this year because you didn't set yourself up to fix that position in the offseason. We knew what it was going into it, and I think that's what it's going to be all year. You hope that Benedet, who's a guy who's been working hard, Brandon, and impressing the coaches,
That's what I was going to say.
continues
Maybe
to
he's
work
being
hard
developed well.
to impress the coaches and continues to improve. That's all you can hope for. And the other thing to lend some confidence to Bears fans is that we actually have depth along this offensive line. It's not that the moves weren't made last year so much, Brandon, as there was no moves to make. We saw both tackles get injured, and the Bears had no one of any capability to plug in. At least Benedet and Trapillo, when they came in on Sunday, actually held it down and did a solid job. You at least have depth and you have options, which is another positive thing for the Bears. But I don't think the left tackle position is fixed. I'm
going to suggest something crazy, okay? But I think you're going to see this happen.
I agree with you, Samuel.
Once or twice. I think if Theo Benedet is playing well enough at the left tackle position, which we all hope for, guys, and I don't want to discredit Theo Benedet. Like Dustin said, I'm sure he's been working his ass off to earn this job.
He's probably worked harder than any other player.
I'm sure Dan Rochar specifically has developed this guy into a better player than he was a day ago, and the day before that. That's what Dan Rochar does. Like I said, guys, his coaching staff has turned mid-level picks into Pro Bowl players. That's what they've all done in their careers. But I think that they're going to possibly bring Trapillo in on some plays. I'm not talking about this being a permanent thing. I think you're going to see Benedet, Trapillo, and Darnell Wright being a swing tackle because Trapillo can't really move like that. I don't know that, and maybe Benedet's your swing tackle, but who plays left then? I think you're going to want to leave the guy at left the same. And the Bears are using a swing tackle, Dustin, in this season a lot. Really, I like it. I like when that personnel's out there. I like when they were bringing Theo Benedet on the other side of Braxton Jones. I thought it was efficient when they did that. They didn't really run the ball when they did it. It was used more as a decoy, but I like that personnel. They block well. And I think they're going to use a swing tackle more. So is Darnell Wright possibly the swing tackle when used?
I doubt that, to be honest.
What do you think? Trapillo at 6'8", 330?
No, I think it's not like I don't know how much sense it makes to move Wright out of.
Are you bringing Braxton Jones back on the field to be a swing tackle?
I mean, Braxton Jones, if he does one thing well that I've seen over his career, is he moves in the run blocking game really well.
Yeah, he can get to the second level.
He's a solid lead blocker, so like that's something that he can do. So I'm okay.
So yeah, maybe we'll see Braxton Jones next week as a swing tackle on this football team. They're going to use a swing tackle you'll see him a couple of plays at least.
We're talking about the if you're not playing well, sit the fuck down mentality that Ben Johnson is establishing with this move. John S. says Jonah is the next one to be benched if he doesn't figure some things out. I would say, Luke Newman is a guy I would totally look at.
What's unfortunate for Jonah is his backup's a really quality football player.
Yeah, I think Luke Newman can be a damn good player in the NFL, and that's just he's a beast in waiting. So, like, if that happens, if Jonah if he doesn't improve, then yeah, I think a move would be made. Another move that I think could be made, Brandon, and that I think should be made, because like, what the fuck else do you have to lose? And I've said this over and over again for going back a year now. Move Darnell Wright to left tackle and put Trapillo at right tackle if Benedet doesn't perform. Again, Benedet has some good size. He has good movement skills. He has really good hands. He's showing that he's well coached, and he takes in the coaching really well. And he's applying the technique 100%. So that could continue to improve, and maybe we don't need to have this conversation. But if it doesn't, and Benedet is still just as weak on that left side as Braxton Jones was, put Darnell Wright at left tackle and put Trapillo at right. That I continue to think that might have been what the Bears were thinking as a possibility when they drafted Trapillo in the first place. And we all just kind of read it wrong because we've just put it out of because it's not happened over this time. They haven't even made an attempt at it that Wright would move to left tackle. But like, maybe that's something they're thinking about. You know, you hear your head coach talking about what a physical specimen Darnell Wright is, a physical unicorn, that he's a damn good athlete.
He is.
Yeah, he is. That's what you want at your left tackle position. And I mean, this is a guy you
Yeah,
drafted in the top
you
10.
you know where I
Yeah, I
stand.
know.
I'm not
I just
getting
want to throw it out there
yeah,
again. If
yeah.
Benedet does not perform and Benedet does not establish himself as a solid starting left tackle in the NFL, good enough to continue to run the offense to where it's not hurting your offense, then that's the next move to me. That's the next one. And I just don't put it out of the realm of possibility because we saw Trapillo look really
Yeah,
good at
and
right tackle, and Ben
what's good
Johnson says he likes him there. He likes him there.
another benefit to doing that, Dustin, is that when they've used the swing tackle, they've typically used them on the left side, at least to start the play. And it's been Benedet outside Braxton Jones, and that has helped, pass protection on that side. So if Darnell Wright starts at left tackle and you're using Benedet back where he was, where I thought he was really effective in that swing tackle role next to Darnell Wright on the left side, might help Darnell Wright get comfortable in playing that role too. There's a lot
This
of
is a
things
good
you can
point by
do.
Vizzo.
Like you said, depth, man. There's a lot of things. The Bears
They have a
do
lot
have
more options than they've
choices. Yeah,
had in
they have
recent years on
choices.
the offensive
And
line.
that's what I want to say this one more time. During the bye week, they need to figure that stuff out.
Well, I
What
think that
personnel fits where and who's best at it and who's going to be our starter
I think
for the
the
remainder
offensive
of this
line
season.
is set for this bye week, and I think they're just trying to figure out how to have them as prepared as possible with the 5 guys that they have in place, and Benedet being that guy at left tackle. I think
And will
that's
Darnell Wright be back?
I think that's what they'll spend their bye week doing is trying to get Benedet as prepared as possible. I think Darnell Wright will be back. I mean, Biggs came out and said like that he's expected to be back. So is Edwards. So is Gordon coming off that bye. I think they expect Wright to be back. I think they want to get that established with
Yeah, I
their 5.
thought they said everyone at Booker and Loveland too, right?
I mean, Booker's eligible to return. So like
These
I would
injury
love to see him.
reports have been weird though, man. They've been really
We're not going to know until the week leading up to that game, and
they've been
it's
strange. And
late because
I
it'll be
said this
late because
earlier.
it's a Monday night game.
I
But I
said
think the
this
Bears are
earlier.
just focused on getting this thing stabilized with the change that they're making here, because you don't want to be making those changes mid game, Brandon, like they did against the Raiders. Like that is not ideal, not ideal at all.
Yeah, and I said this earlier, man. I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know where I was going with it, man. I lost it. I
It's
completely
okay.
lost it.
I
Yeah,
mean, just like Braxton Jones lost his job,
yeah.
and like that will continue to happen with this roster and with this team going forward. If you're not performing, you're not going to get the opportunities. So, and I think that if you reward the guys who work hard, and as I just said, I think Benedet has to be the hardest working dude at Hollis Hall this whole offseason and into this season, because he has just climbed up the roster. He's just climbed up this entire
He's
time.
climbing the
So
ranks. Yeah, and
that's a positive thing to take away from this move. Like this guy is a worker. This guy is committed to his craft, and he's trying to be better every game. So I mean, I'm excited to see what he does. All I'm saying is that you still have another option if that doesn't work either. Because I don't as hard as he works, he just might not be a very good left tackle in the NFL. We don't know yet. We don't know yet.
yeah, and I'll say it again, man. I firmly
I
believe
wanted to
this.
touch on that, what Vizzo said. Sorry. Wright should prefer left tackle with an extension looming. I agree with that too. The money is much bigger on that side of the ball than it is on the right side. So that's another thing to throw into that
Well,
conversation.
I'm sure Wright would embrace that challenge, man. He's a competitor. He seems like a guy
I would hope so.
he's kind of a mean guy, one of those big offensive linemen that, you know, that's the kind of sense I get from him. He plays very physically, but I think if you presented that to him, he would not have any
No, he
issue with
would
that at
he
all.
would do
It
what the team thought was
doesn't
best for
matter,
them to win
but
games. I
I
think
think
so.
he's a guy who would embrace it. And I think, like you said, Dustin, and this is the point you've made that really matters most is how much worse how much worse do we really believe a guy who is as physically got dart? I mean, Ben Johnson's not wrong. We've seen this since the day the Bears chose him over Jalen Carter. This kid is physically talented. There's no doubt about it. What if he's a monster left tackle? What if you don't even know?
Yeah,
Like,
and
what
you
if
just got
that's
you
your
have the
answer
solution.
that
You
you've
have the
been
solution
waiting for
sitting there on your roster.
years? Yeah, and this guy
And you
just goes
happen
over there and continues to be the physical
and you
specimen
happen
he
to
is.
draft a guy in this most recent draft in the second round that is perfectly fit for right tackle.
Yeah, and a
What are the
monster,
odds of that?
a man that cannot be moved.
Yeah,
That
like
guy's
he's the
huge. You
transition to
want
left
that guy on
tackle.
the field, man.
Well, he can't be moved from right tackle either, apparently. The transition from right tackle to left tackle for Ozzy Trapillo did not go well at all. It put him behind Theo Benedet in the pecking order of this roster. So, like,
Yeah.
they've
And did you
established
choose
that.
the wrong guy to
No,
try to transfer to left?
or are we looking at it the wrong way? It's one of those two things. If Ozzy Trapillo can excel at right tackle and be the best version of himself and be a damn good right tackle for you, what do you have to lose in moving right to left tackle and seeing what the fuck you got?
Yeah, could you imagine if
Nothing to
this
lose.
line ended up being Darnell Wright, Joe Tooney, Drew Dahlman, Luke Newman,
Luke Newman.
and Ozzy Trapillo?
I love me some Nuke Lumen.
Like we were talking about competing and earning it during the off season, and by the end of the season, it's 5 different guys.
And speaking of that, competing and earning it, let's keep talking about it just for a second, Brandon, because Luke Newman is a guy that is lurking behind Jonah Jackson. You got Edwards coming back. Sewell has played really well. Is Edmonds on the potential chopping block of being a starter on this team? Are there any guys that you see that aren't pulling their weight to where they shouldn't
Yes.
have? Grady
Yes.
Jarrett. Grady Jarrett.
think-
Does he come back and automatically just get started at the 3 tech for this Bears team? Should
Well,
he?
A guy who
I think there's some people to talk about here. Fucking Montez Sweat. I mean,
Jalen
he's going to
Jones.
start, but he has not performed.
I think Jalen Jones will start to see some action here and there, but I also believe this, man.
Nashawn Wright. There you go.
There's a very strong possibility that when they're down to 2 corners, Nashawn Wright playing man, especially Nashawn Wright, Kyler Gordon replaces Nashawn Wright on the outside. I think that's a possibility. If Nashawn Wright doesn't have to be on the field, because you're not going to remove Kyler Gordon from the field and leave Nashawn Wright playing corner. I don't. If that's the Bears' approach, I'll be truly disappointed, Dustin. I think Dennis Allen can make Kyler Gordon one of the best players in the NFL on the defensive side.
But Kyler Gordon can also go to safety, and you can put you can put Brisker on the bench, or you could run with 3 safeties with Kyler Gordon in that third safety position, Brisker and Byard on the field, and then Jalen Jones is that cornerback if he steps up and beats Nashawn Wright. It shouldn't be hard to beat Nashawn Wright for a job, based on what I have seen from Nashawn.
No,
Wright.
and I think Kyler Gordon would be better in coverage anyway.
Job.
I do. I know Kyler Gordon struggled on the outside, but I think first off, I think Al Harris is doing wonders for these guys. But I also believe
clearly with Tyreek, man. Clearly.
Yeah. I also believe that he's just a more talented player than Nashawn Wright at any position on the field.
I think that's clear as well.
I really do. So I think Kyler Gordon, when you're going to go down to 2 corners on the field, which is not very often.
It's not going to be often at all.
Plays with a nickel a lot, but when they do that in a man, which they will sometimes, you could be, especially based on the personnel the offense is presenting. I think you leave Kyler Gordon on the field with Tyreek Stevenson. I don't see how you pull Kyler Gordon off the field to leave Nashawn Wright on the. Nashawn Wright has not been good, man. It's not been good.
So, I mean, there's the potential that Jalen Jones just outright beats him for the job. There's the potential that Kyler Gordon is that Swiss Army knife that maybe takes Brisker off the field on some plays and maybe takes Nashawn Wright off the field in some plays, depending on where Dennis Allen wants to use him and feels like he's going to be best utilized. At the same time, you don't want to overutilize Kyler Gordon either. You don't want him playing 100% of snaps. So, like, there'll be
didn't he give a number? Didn't he give a number on it? I thought he said he wanted him playing closer to 70%.
Yeah, 70, 75, somewhere in there.
Yeah, because he was playing like 40.
Yeah, no, you want him on the field as much as possible without overworking him. So, I mean, what you're saying makes sense. And Vizzo says Gordon was getting better on the outside when they moved him to nickel. It was a tough slog for him, man. I just remember telling people to stay with him because he was not in the right position, and you could tell he was working really hard. And I did see the improvement as well, Vizzo, so I agree with you there. Nashawn Wright is one that we need to see lose their starting job. And hopefully that comes with the health of Jalen Jones or somebody else steps up. Tremaine Edmonds, you talked about him earlier. I mean, when a guy is top 5 in tackles, as little as that means when you're chasing guys down from behind and taking bad angles to tackles, and someone has to make a tackle, as we discussed all day today, Brandon, like someone has to get those tackles on a team that's allowing 6 yards per carry. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And
a team that's not tackling anybody at the line.
Yeah, and Edmonds has just been that guy for the
Nobody
Bears.
is. It's not
those
just
those tackle stats are clearly padded for Tremaine Edmonds, but he also has the 2 interceptions, and those were And the first one in the end in the red zone was a good play. It
Yeah,
was. So
they're
like
athletic plays. He's an athletic
Edmonds
guy.
Edmonds can bring some value to your team. If he continues to struggle against the run as hard as he has, Brandon, again, as I said earlier, like putting Edwards next to Sewell, you're putting yourself in a really bad spot when you're in nickel packages because running backs are gonna just get open, like Kyron Williams was tonight on the Niners, like all fucking night. So like that's a concern. So like,
Well, and
is
like
it even
Genty
a
was,
possibility?
Genty
Yeah,
was open a lot already.
yeah, he had 2 receiving touchdowns in that game, and Sewell got beat badly on the first one. So like, but do you see a possibility that Edmonds gets benched at all this season? The more I mean, I'm not happy with his play in a lot of ways,
I could,
but
I could absolutely see there being plays where Sewell, Edwards, and Gordon are on the field. I could see that, and Gordon maybe plays that role, who kind of spies the halfback. But I think there's definitely going to be plays where you're. I don't think they want Dustin. I'm starting to think more in terms of who these guys want on the field, and more less than who are they thinking of removing, because I think they want Trapillo to play some football. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I think they are dead set on making sure
hopefully by
Braxton
moving
Trapillo.
Darnell right to
Yeah,
left tackle
I,
and starting
the,
to see it right.
another guy that I think that Kyler Gordon's going to play a lot of football. He's going to play a lot of football for this team, but I also believe now that they believe Noah Sewell serves a purpose on this football team. He does some things well.
Yeah, but
So,
maybe not in a full-time role.
no,
You
yeah.
know,
So I think to remove Tremaine Edmonds from the field and let Noah Sewell play again is not going to hurt you.
so maybe not benched in terms of Edmonds, but rotated more.
Situational, yeah.
Yeah. Once you get okay, so I mean, it's a decrease in responsibility and role in some aspects,
Vizzo
but
Joe
not
says
not a straight.
Dio's snaps are going to come down by
That's
default.
what he was saying. If Booker picks up where he left
Yeah.
off, yep, that's what he was saying. Even though Dio just got paid, does Booker supplant him? That's another guy. Like if Dio's not performing and Booker is, Booker will
Well,
start to get more
that's a
opportunity,
very
and Dio
rotational
will
role,
lose him.
anyways.
No doubt. And I think Booker is more of your situational pass rusher. I've been saying that, and I can't wait to fucking see it because I think this kid was about to explode. I really do. But like Dio can be more of your guy to set the edge and help against the run, which obviously up to this point hasn't really happened. But like if you add that situational pass rusher to it, that rotation gets better, Brandon, as you were saying. So I don't think Dio gets benched for Booker, but again, nothing's off the table with Ben Johnson. As you can see, he benched Braxton Jones in the middle of a game. Ben Johnson is not fucking around, so that's why we're talking about
And it
this.
worked. So that makes you wonder even more as a player.
Yeah,
Like, am I the problem? Am I the guy that's gone?
it's
That's
me.
just how you think.
Hi.
And
Yeah, and the other guy
and
was Jonah Jackson, Brandon. That was brought up earlier by John S.
yeah, and I thought, Austin Booker was actually starting to do things outside of just rushing the pass a little better towards the end of that last season. I did think he was a little more aggressive. He was getting to the ball more often when he wasn't
Yeah,
strictly.
chasing plays
Yeah,
down.
he wasn't by the one thing that he did early in his career, Dustin, and I know you know this, guys. If you've been watching the Bears, you know this as well. He bid on play action a lot. He was after the quarterback when the quarterback had already given the ball away on multiple plays. And the kid just wanted to get he wanted to get sacks. The kid wanted to get the quarterback, and he started to learn last year towards the end of the season to be a little more patient. And the
Well,
kid
he's
was
missed a lot of opportunity to develop this season so far, so they're going to bring him along slowly. I don't think Dio's job is in jeopardy just because
no.
of that. As the season goes on, and Booker if he continues to excel, then yeah, I mean, obviously that rotation will start to go in a higher favor towards Austin Booker, I think. But Dio
Yeah.
still serves a purpose in
I
some
think
way.
Booker's going to be rolled in slow, and I think they're going to do exactly what you said, man. I think when he is used, he's going to be used as a pass rusher.
Yeah. And Samo says you kick Dio to 3-tech to rush the passer. That's another situational thing. I think that's more of a NASCAR type package if you're thinking about something
Dio
like
has
that.
not played
Dennis
too
Allen's
much
going to be able to
inside.
get creative with a full complement of his defense. If these guys come back, that's a huge advantage.
That's a great point. That's another roster. I don't know what word I'm trying to look for, Dustin, but adjustment if Dial can play better, he has played a lot of his career inside. If he can play better inside for this football team than he has on the outside, that's another benefit. And just, moving somebody, maybe not so much removing them, but moving somebody's role on this football team. So
or
that
decreasing it.
that's what I mean is these coaches gotta, like, this is a good week, this bye week, and you now got 4 weeks you can watch some tape. You got This is a good week to figure out who belongs where and how much. You know what I mean?
Does Jonah Jackson belong at right guard?
And do your rookies, should Luther Burden be more involved in this offense? Is he
He
is he
clearly should.
four
Answer my
four
question first.
weeks in? Is he learned enough? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, we knew that was going to take some time. We were saying that all offseason. But does Jonah Jackson deserve to have a starting job up to this point in your mind? Because John has brought
Well,
it up.
I didn't feel like they got beat by I didn't think they got beat on the inside against the Raiders. I thought it was
Well, against the
outside.
Vikings, they certainly did. I
Yeah,
mean,
they did
against the
100%.
Lions, they did. Yeah, I mean, so it's been a tale of a couple different games here, and I thought
Yeah,
Jonah Jackson
I thought the games they won, I thought the interior offensive line played
held
well.
up really nice. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, and obviously they were playing some
And
much
and
better
I
players at those
s-
positions in those first two games. So
right,
what
and I said
happens?
this
What
too.
happens when you play against Dexter Lawrence, Brandon?
Well, I said this too. I think it's important. Bears are obviously happy that they're going in the bye week 2-2 as opposed to what could have happened after a 0-2 start. But it's important too as well that the Bears won the games they did, the latter two games of the first quarter of their season, because that is improvement, right? I mean,
Uh-huh.
they
It
played they
was
played better.
absolutely
They
necessary.
played better teams the first and second week of the season. They did without a doubt, but they won the games. I mean, if they like I said earlier in the show, if they had won one game and then lost three, that's not showing the result you want to see in Ben Johnson. But when this team's getting better week by week, as you can see from penalties and things like that, and time management has gotten tremendously better, but you can see the result on the win column. That means a lot more to me than just the record in itself, the winning two games before the bye week.
Samuel says Drew Dahlman is playing worse than Jonah Jackson, in my opinion. I think that gap in between them was a big problem in those first two games. And as Brandon said, it shored up in the last two games. But I think a big part of that was that they just were playing inferior talent compared to the first two games. Like the talent in there was Lee McNeil and Hargraves and fucking Allen. Like you got much better players in that interior of those defensive lines than they've seen with the Cowboys and the Raiders. So I think it's going to be matchup dependent for a lot of these guys, and we're going to see ups and downs. And that's what I mean by, like, we don't know who this team is yet. We really don't. Like,
Well,
can you beat the guy across from you regardless of who they are?
you would hope. Excuse me. You would hope 4 weeks in, man, that Ben Johnson would know that, like, Luke Newman. Like, you got to believe that this guy would know that Luke Newman is a better player than Jonah Jackson has performed.
I'm,
Like, if he doesn't come out next week against the Commanders, doesn't like, and you've seen the struggles you've seen early in the season from Jonah Jackson. I mean, doesn't that kind of answer the question? Like, I don't.
I mean, all I know is that if he's not performing in a game, Ben Johnson will pull him. That's what he's shown. Ben Johnson will put a guy in that wants to work for the job and wants to do better. So I mean, and I think Luke Newman is that guy. But we're just speculating too, because we have not seen Luke Newman in a regular season game.
We don't know.
Perform.
We don't know how I don't know how negatively the Bears feel about Jonah Jackson. They might feel like he's coming along. I don't.
No, I mean, obviously they wanted him, they targeted him, and Ben Johnson wanted him, so he's here for a reason. We got to see if he continues to perform, and they extended him after they
This
got him
keeps
too.
being said. I want to address this.
I want to address it too because it fits right in with what we're talking about in terms of competition. Is Rojo getting a chance to compete? And
Oh no,
Bizzo
I
said
meant the Dahlman thing. We've got 3 comments here about Dahlman, man. I think personally, Drew Dahlman's performance has been a little reflective of Jonah Jackson's failures. I personally believe that he has had to take on a little bit more work than he's probably accustomed to, because those two guys have handled, if you watch, guys, they're handling the nose tackle,
Dahlman played
the
next to
one
some
guy,
really good
the
guards
big
in
the
Atlanta.
big Andrew Billings on the opposing team is who those two guys are typically blocking, and it makes Dahlman's job much harder if Jonah Jackson can't hold his block, if he can't stay engaged,
If he's trying to
then
pick up for Jonah
yeah,
Jackson, pick up the
then they're
slack.
both
Yeah.
in trouble because you're defending one player. You have to be in unison. That's how you defend those big 345-pound guys. You know what I mean? That's you got to have two guys that can work together. And I think that Drew Dahlman's been heavily affected by Jonah Jackson's inabilities.
And I mean, like I said, Dahlman played next to some really good guards in Atlanta, and that could have made him look better than he was too. We don't know yet. Again, we got to see everybody playing at their best and playing together and figuring this thing out to really judge him. I'm not ready to judge Jonah Jackson yet, honestly, but I know what I love about Luke Newman is this guy just wants to kill the person across from him. Luke Newman plays with attitude, he plays with aggression, and he plays with
Yeah, there
solid
was a
technique
preseason
for a
snap
rookie.
where he blocked a guy like 9 yards beyond the play. Like it was just
Yeah,
you
yeah,
see guys
and
like those,
his motor
you
doesn't
can just
stop.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So like we'll see. We'll see where that goes. But and Foster, thanks for checking in, brother. Good to see you. He says Newman look should be in order. Okay.
What's going on, Foster? Yeah,
This
I
one,
mean,
this
like I
one,
said, guys, but you gotta if you like if Luke Newman, let's say you're even not displeased with Jonah Jackson, you think he's been serviceable and you think he's improved. If you're a coaching staff, if Luke Newman is just like jumping off the pages, this guy's at practice just murdering people. Don't you think the Bears would identify that regardless of how well
I
Jonah
have
Jackson has played or not, that this guy might be like a potential franchise player and he's young, he's the guy you want to move
that's a bit of an potential franchise player is a bit of an overstatement. I will say that,
Well,
but like,
what if he's playing that way in practice? Like he
yeah.
did in the preseason, Dustin. That's the way
Do
it
you
goes.
have any
Like
doubts?
he is
Do you,
a monster.
Brandon, do you have any doubts that Ben Johnson would have that guy starting if that's what he was doing in practice?
No, I don't. So I don't. So I don't know that. Like I guess Ben. I don't think that Ben Johnson's seen anything in Jonah Jackson to imply that he shouldn't be playing.
Yeah, no, but as we pointed out, they went with Braxton Jones because of the fact that he was a veteran. That's the reason he started this season as the left tackle because of his experience, and they realized that you could have experience, but if the experience is bad, it doesn't really make a difference. So, like, if Jonah Jackson's experience is his edge right now over Luke Newman, how good is that experience, and how much is that translating to you winning football games right now?
Yeah,
That's what it comes down to.
if it's experience, then it's not performance. Then he should get the fuck off the field.
I'm just again just speculation. I think that
No,
that's
I
why
know.
they went with
And
Braxton,
listen, I love Luke
and that
Newman.
did not work out.
I want Luke. I don't know why, Dustin, but there's this like something inside me wants this guy to be like the fucking guy. I want this guy to be that dominant
I think he
guard,
has it in him. I think he
the
does.
Joe Tooney on the other side, a brick wall, a guy you don't worry about. I want the Bears to start getting cornerstone pieces on this offensive line. And from what I saw from Luke Newman in the preseason, and this is the preseason, and I understand that, but he was able to not only
He
get
started though.
he not
Yeah.
o- yeah, and he wasn't able to only beat the guy across from him. He was blocking
Get
people
to the
inside.
second level.
He was
He was
moving
getting
the
to the
line of
second level.
scrimmage.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
it was impressive. I was posting on social media like to fans, focus on this guy during this game, watch what he's doing, because I mean you could just see that he was not losing to anybody, and I don't know that I've seen that in Jonah Jackson.
Yeah, no, Foster, Ben Johnson seems to be real big on trust and trusting his players, and I think the experience has a
Yes,
lot to do with it.
trust
Yeah.
is most important. Yes, and
And
remember,
that's
guys,
that lends
this is a
itself to these
position.
rookies not
This is
being
the only
involved.
guy, and then remember, this is the only guy on this team that Ben Johnson has coached before.
And
So
also what's funny about
he brought Jonah Jackson here because it was his guy.
Brandon, what's
before.
funny about that though is Ben Johnson has no experience as a head coach. Like
Well, what's funny
you're
about that?
getting that opportunity yourself, you
What's
know.
funny about that
Give it
too
to
is
someone else.
he brought Jonah Jackson here because he'd worked with him before and he liked him, and he still will bench that guy. I
No,
believe
yeah,
that
I have
wholeheartedly.
no doubts that if Luke Newman is outperforming Jonah Jackson in practice, that Luke Newman will eventually be the starter. I just think that these rookies need to earn that trust. And all I'm saying is Ben Johnson is a rookie head coach as well. You got to get the opportunity somewhere, and talent is talent, and hard work is hard work. And I think Ben Johnson is doing a good job of sorting through the weeds of what was a lot of weird shit going on here to like find that talent and figure out who's gonna help him get where he wants to go. So I just think that those things take time.
And
This
it's
is a
very
brand new
apparent he
roster with him, a
believes in
brand
this.
new job.
He believes in this roster, Dustin. He does. You can
Mhm.
see that
No, yeah,
wholeheartedly. He
and that
believes
belief
this. He believes this roster can win today. He
and
does.
that belief is transferring to the players. They believe it too. That's exactly what a head coach is supposed to do. That's your number one job. Make sure your players believe in each other and believe in you, and you believe in them. Yeah, because then you guys can do anything together. That's the number one part of leadership to me. So he seems to be doing that really well. So I agree with you. The Roshan Johnson thing, I just wanted to touch on it because that speaks to what we're talking about in terms of the competition. Is Roshan Johnson getting a fair opportunity at that competition? And if he is he just not showing up? Because Vizzo says here, I wish a reporter would ask Ben what the fuck happened to Roshan Johnson. I mean, I've always thought he's just an average player. Personally, nothing stands out about his game to me. So maybe that I don't know if anything happened to Roshan. I think it's just what it's
I
been.
think that should. I think that should be the answer. If that's the case, we should be honest. Hey Ben, what happened with Roshan Johnson? He's really just an average player.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's what he's been
I
through his
think he would be
career.
more diplomatic than me in assessing that. But is he getting the opportunity in practice? Because the Bears need something with this run game. Why would this guy not get a look if he's anything close to what people expected him to be when he was
I
drafted?
thought about this, and there's no merit to it. But I do you think there's any possibility that they like this kid a lot on special teams? He has played special teams since he's been healthy again. And they think the concussion thing is less of a problem if he's not running the football.
I mean,
I mean,
concussions happen on kickoffs,
a
kick
concussion on
returns.
a concussion on a defender is almost unpreventable, but a guy that you can choose not to put on offense is a little more, I think, in his favor in regards to
I
safety.
I don't know. Maybe the concussion, maybe that's playing a role in terms of them just easing him into it. I don't know, but I would like to see them try something with this run game. And if Roshan Johnson is the only other option right now. So like if he's not getting opportunity, I think that says an awful lot about what Ben Johnson and his coaching staff, the enemy and such, think of what he's giving them on the practice field right now. And it's not enough. That's really what it comes down to for me. There's no other reason.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't like. Listen, on top of the fact that they didn't have the personnel that they had hoped for in in the position, this running back position, I just don't like the way they've done it. I don't like. It's the one thing. Ben is very. He's like a surgeon when it comes to running an effective effective balanced offense in the NFL and effectively running the football. And I don't like his approach. I don't know that there's not more to be done to make this better. And it seems like he's trying the same answer every game. I don't know, Dustin, to you, does it seem like things have drastically changed because it's drastically failing at every level? Why wouldn't you be like
I agree, Samo.
something has to give at some point in this season? And I don't know that Roshan Johnson is that, but you've got to take a different approach because you're taking the same approach week in and week out, and it's not going very well.
I don't think they have the answer. I think they need to make a trade or sign somebody off the fucking scrap heap. I mean, I don't know. Where's Donta Foreman at right now? What's he doing?
I do wonder if there's
Give me
players
some-
on. Are there players like we had players like Jade Walker who impressed during the preseason and through training camp. Is there players like that on practice squads that played the running back position? Are there players that had good outings during their off season that just had no room on the team they were on? Like, are there any of those guys out there? Because if I was a team looking for a receiver and Jade Walker was on our practice squad, I'd sign him. I'd give him a shot. Is there a player like that? I mean, who was the kid that was cut from? Was it Notre Dame or Michigan?
I'm sorry, what?
Who was the kid that was like Damian Martinez or something? There was a player
Oh,
who
he
was
was out
cut
of Miami. Yeah, I
who never
mean,
really got a
Seattle.
real shot. Yeah.
Seattle cut him. Yeah,
I mean, or are you looking
I don't.
for a Zach Moss, like a veteran guy that can just take some
The
carries
Jets
for the?
just signed Khalil Herbert. I mean,
You're
We
just
all know
looking
how
for a
that.
guy to relieve some other guys of carries and hits. Like I don't know what the Bears need to make this
I don't
work.
I don't know, but all I know is that it was a huge misstep to not be more aggressive in addressing this position clearly
Yeah,
because you don't have options. You
yeah.
don't
I
have
thought
options.
I thought there
And
was
I
a
agree with
possibility
Samo.
because it was
Roshan is not an
rumored.
option to me. He's not very good.
I don't know if you remember this, Dustin, but it was rumored that the Bears might possibly trade up for Ashton Genty. Do you remember that being like it sounded like something they were going to be aggressive in doing, getting a
Estime
run.
and Philly too,
Um,
John S says. Audric
and
Estime got yeah,
you have to wonder, man, is Omarion Hampton at 10
a better
something
option than
something you
Colston Love.
probably we talked about this, Dustin.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that the balance? Is Ben Johnson's offense rely strictly on the ability to run the ball and having a guy that can do it at every level? And
That's when it took
did
off
you
when he
miss that
yeah,
hard?
when they drafted Gibbs, that's when that offense took off. So like
Yeah.
I guess you can wait a year on it. You're gonna have to at this point, but maybe you should have been a little more aggressive and a little more sure about your running back position in this offseason if that's what
Yeah,
your
we're
offense needs to run at its peak.
well, and it doesn't look, you've got Colston Lovin who's not currently playing, and I don't blame the guy for being injured. A lot of people are beating him up for it. I mean, this shit happens, guys. But what if you had a Marion Hampton and DeAndre Swift in your backfield and no other tight end? Just Cole Kmet,
What if you sign Najee Harris? I mean, what if you traded for Brian
J.K.
Robinson?
Dobbins, yeah,
I mean, anything like you needed something. You
or
needed
even Gus
something.
Edwards, yeah, just a guy, or
Yeah,
Tank Bigsby, somebody who
yeah,
carried the ball, man. Yeah,
yeah,
there's all
yeah.
these
You
players.
needed something, and it seems like a very big misstep that you don't have it because your run game is suffering very badly right now, and you don't have an option to fix it. So I don't know. It's tough, man. Roshan's not the answer, Vizzo. Roshan's not the answer. I agree with Samo on that. So
And it's
um,
really hard to believe that an answer's not out there at this position, man. There are some guys who just plug into a system and they're able to succeed at
John
other
throws out
levels.
Estime. I love Estime.
Are
I
there
mean,
guys who Ben Johnson could just use for this role in his
uh-huh.
offense?
Yeah.
Well, if DeAndre Swift continues to play his role in this offense, is there
And
a
while
guy
you
out there?
buy your
You're not
time,
you're not
while
out
you
there.
buy
I
your
mean, we're
time.
not talking about going out there in free agency or on other teams' practice squads and looking for a 3-down stud. Talking
No,
about
no,
a
just
guy,
somebody to buy your
yeah,
time this year and be good
yeah,
enough
who
until you
does
can
what you
draft
need
that guy
that
next
Swift
year.
ain't doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Until you draft Jeremiah Love next year. That's what you need. You just need someone to kind of come in and do the yeoman's work because you don't have anyone here to do it. And
You
and
could have
right now,
signed.
for whatever reason, they don't trust Roshan to give him the opportunity to show that he could. So
Did Travis Homer go down for the season? Do I remember that correctly?
no, I think he went on IR. He went on IR, and John brought that up, saying Roshan might be gone when Homer comes back. Homer sucks too. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, he does. But
no thank.
he is that guy that you get in free agency, that veteran player that takes. I mean, he's that plug-in guy. If you can't find somebody that can make an impact, man, he's the guy that can take snaps away from the player that
Rascal.
that shouldn't be used every down. How do I Kool-Aid drinking and paper? He's there. He is.
You
I
know,
can
actually
right
read
there.
it for the. It says hi to all you Kool-Aid drinking and paper champ cheering fans. This is the place where you come to complain. Or is he
This is
saying
where you
that we're
come. This is where you come to
for a
do
dose
what.
of reality?
This is
You
where you
know,
come to do whatever it is you need to do, guys. That's if you want to complain. If you
Homer
want,
does
oh my God,
suck.
yeah, he's not. He's just not good. He's just not good. Yeah, there's
The
no doubt
Bears
about
run
that.
game sucks, guys. The Bears run game sucks, and you're just not going to win a lot of games if you don't figure that out. That's the reality. And Samuel says Homer should not be occupying a roster spot on this team. I agree with you. Not good. So but those are the decisions that they've made with this run game, and it's not a surprise that they're averaging like 3 yards per carry. I don't have the exact
And
number.
like I said, man,
Not
what's
fucking good.
frustrating is, I'm not saying this as if all the options, like the card just went off the table, because my point is, I think you can just sign some guys. You can sign guys at this position. Look at Miles Sanders. Look at the impact he's making on his football team. I mean,
Look
like,
at the impact Javante Williams is
yeah.
making. It's not like
Well,
he
and
broke the
I
bank
thought
signing.
before his injury in Denver, he was a good player. His rookie
I think we
season, he
all
was
thought that. Yeah,
very effective. Yeah.
we all
And,
thought
Miles Sanders gets signed to a team that puts him in whatever role he serves best in a system that serves him well. And the guy, you just got to find that guy. Is there a guy out there that can just play that role? And I'm not, like I said, Miles Sanders isn't like, he's gone, so it's over. No, there's somebody like Miles
Look
Sanders
at
who's
Kareem
available
Hunt,
to,
who was sitting on and
yeah, who was
sitting on the
retired for a year.
streets.
Wasn't he? Didn't he? Fuck, yeah,
He
he's
was
like
out of the
that.
league. He hadn't played for a while, and the Chiefs just went and got him, and he seems to be the best running back on their team. So, like, yeah, take a shot at something because what you got is not good enough. And yeah, Vizzo Poles completely neglected the running back room, and I think he let Ben
And then
Johnson
we
down
also
in
got to
that
say this
regard.
in
He let
in
Ben Johnson down in
fairness.
that regard because Ben Johnson needed more to run his offense the way he wants to. Yeah, we brought up Damian Martinez earlier, John.
Yeah, I thought he was.
I
I
like
thought,
him too.
and
He's a power running back.
in all fairness, we're saying all this, guys, and we still can we justifiably sit here and say that Manunga is just not good
I still like Manungai. I still
after
like what I see from
four
him.
games and like
If
16 carries or whatever he's gotten in his
he's
career?
getting 4 carries a game, you can't really judge him the same as you can't judge Colston Loveland off of 6 targets in 3 games.
Especially
Like
not especially not when the guy
Ben
carried
needs to
for
give him
over
more tick.
4 yards per game per carry in the 4 carries he got in the game. You know what I mean? Like he ran the ball at an NFL level, theoretically.
Well,
It's,
Samo, the way that happened, that the Niners had 3 running backs go down last season, and each backup came in and ran for 90 plus a game, was because Jordan Mason he's a good running back. He was a good running back. Garendo is a fast running back, but the big reason why, Samo, is because Kyle Shanahan is the best guy at designing runs in the NFL. He's the most
yeah,
creative
Liam Cohen is another one. There are guys who do that more
in the
effectively than
NFL.
others. Yeah.
So that's why, and I think Ben Johnson is pretty good at it too. It's just I don't think that he has the pieces here, and as you've seen, the offensive line has performed much better in pass protection than they have in run blocking up to this point. Their run blocking is not good compared to their pass blocking. So you need to get better production out of your offensive line in terms of run blocking. And you need to get Kyle Monunga, as you just brought up, Brandon, more involved in the run game in my mind. A guy that's getting 4 carries a game when Swift is getting, 17, 18, I think you bring Swift's number down to 12 and you get Monunga's up to 9 or 10. And I think that's a better balance. And I think you can kind of beat up the defense a little bit and open it up, soften the inside to open it up for Swift to hit the edge. I
Yeah.
think that
And I
makes
think
total
one
sense to me.
one thing that I think those those backs that you send up, into the offensive linemen's backs and have, the guys that just go barely like a bowling ball, they hit them like pins. They're barreling through that line. If there's no gap there, they're trying to make one with power. Those guys wear the hell out of a defensive line, guys. They take the air and energy out of players who play on the
Mhm.
defensive front. Those guys who continuously just keep getting 2 to 3 yards up the middle every time, and they're running at you with a head full of steam and just running right through you to
And
try to
those
gain
small
the
guys,
yards they
Brandon,
do.
those small bulky
They burn you down, man.
those
Those
small
guys.
bulky guys are really hard to tackle. And Monungai has really good contact balance. He can get through those things. He needs more opportunity. It's like a shooting guard who's coming off the bench, man, and they only get a chance to get up 6 shots in a game. They're never gonna get in a rhythm. Kyle Monungai needs to stack some runs to get into a rhythm. You can see it. Like I can see it. I don't know about if you can see it or anybody else can see it, but I can see that if you gave this guy a few carries in a row and let him get into a rhythm, you're going to see some
Well,
good things happen. You're going to see the chains move because of it. I
and
believe that.
if you draw, and I think Ben Johnson, listen, I'm sure the Bears are aware of this. I'm not the person who's like discovering this, and I haven't heard really anybody else talk about it. I rewatched a little bit of the Bears game, and the play in which he has pitched the ball. Caleb takes the snap under center, turns around, and pitches the ball, and Menungai starts probably like 4 or 5 yards behind Caleb, and by the time he's reaching the line of scrimmage, he is moving fast, and he barreled through 2 or 3 players and gained like
Yeah, he
six
got
or
met
seven
right at the line
yards.
of scrimmage.
Yes, and got like 6 or 7 yards on that play. And I said on Monday, when this guy got steam, when given the ball, he was
It's hard
really
to bring down.
impactful. And
He's
I
hard to
think
bring down.
Ben Johnson knows that, and you're going to continue to draw things up where this guy is moving. He's in motion when collecting the ball, and that will make him a more impactful player. I don't know what his 10-yard 40 or his not his 10-yard time is, because that's really which like the burst.
Yeah.
But he looked really explosive to me, man, when he was in motion receiving the pitch from Caleb Williams. I thought, wow, like two or three tackles to bring this guy down. If he had one, he's probably continuing to run. You know what I mean? If there was one player responsible for having to bring him down, I don't know that that would have occurred. He probably would have been running. So I like what Kyle Monanga's presented to the Bears with the little time he's been given. He ran for over 4 yards per carry in that game against the
And the
Raiders.
guy doesn't fumble. That's a rare thing for a rookie
Yeah.
too, that you can trust him with that. So I just think they need to get those 4 carries, turn them into like 10. Give him a little
he's
more,
also
a little more rhythm.
as little as he's played, he's already kind of benefited as a decoy in this offense. The defense has almost assumed every time Anunga is on the field that he's going to carry the ball, and he's gotten left pretty undefended
in the passing
in the passing game. I don't know that he's like a tremendous receiver because he didn't have those statistics in college. I think defense are kind of just forgetting about him because he's this little guy. He's not known for doing that. I don't think when defensive coordinators are approaching tape or watching the Bears, they're like, "Oh, we got to watch out for this guy's receiving ability, this Manon guy." I think he's kind of being left alone. And
I mean the
teams
play
have paid
action.
for it.
The play action is a thing there too, Brandon. I mean, we're coming up on 2 hours, man. Is there anything else? Well, you were on here for about 40 minutes without me, but so I'm glad I could join you. But like,
there's one thing I
what
want
else
to say.
do you want to get to before
we always kind of finish the game on something a little different. Not necessarily Bears related.
Finish the game.
Finish the show. Sorry. Yeah. Finish the game.
Congratulations to Bad Bunny
to the
for
Cubs.
being named the halftime.
Oh God, no! I don't. I'm not going to touch that because I don't. There's things that I'll say about that. I wanted to. Yeah, whatever.
Bad Bunny's all right.
Stupid man. No, he's not.
It's
not good music. I don't know if you saw. They took a poll on social media. It said like, "Would you prefer
just on all of social media?"
Well, yeah, I think it was shared from Instagram to Facebook when I saw it. But it said like, would you rather see something like this at the halftime show? And it was a picture of like, I think it was Metallica or this, and it showed Bad Bunny. And it was
Metallica would be badass, dude.
I don't think they were talking about the band directly. I think they meant like a band. I think that's what the question was.
Like a band,
a band or like a solo artist, because the halftime show no longer does like people who play instruments. That's not a thing anymore. And a halftime show.
Was the last one Tom Petty? Was the last one? I remember Tom Petty.
It was 2019. They said.
Okay. What did they have? Maroon 5? Is that what it was? Ugh.
I think it was. Maroon
5 sucks.
Maroon 5 was the last group that played. And it's
the last good one I remember was Tom Petty, and I think that was the Patriots Giants Super Bowl.
But I wanted to congratulate the Cubs, man. I thought,
yeah, man, that game was fucking awesome.
Their pitching is going to be tough to deal with for any offense in the MLB.
And they get the Brewers, bro. They get the Brewers.
I think that hopefully this is a series where Kyle Tucker can kind of come alive, because that makes a world of difference for this Cubs team. That kid's got to be hitting the ball. If you're going to beat a team like
the bats woke up a little bit today for the Cubs. I mean, we're not. It was a fun game. They're in the NLDS for the first time since 2017. That's cool, man. Because the way this season looked in July and August, you were like, well, this is fucked. They're not making the playoffs. That's what all of us were saying. So they've turned it around, and maybe they're that team that's gonna catch fire at the right time. I don't know. I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was pretty in any of these games.
I think we all knew they were going to make the playoffs.
No. There was a time in the right after that All-Star break where it did not look like they were going to make it. It looked like they were tanking.
And there was a point where they
their record was still good, but it looked like they were on a downward trajectory.
Yeah, they had gotten to within 3.5 games of the team that was in the race for the wild card. So they were about to fall out. But it was more their chances of winning the division were just diminishing game by game by game.
Well, a big part of that was that the Brewers were playing with a horseshoe up their ass.
Yeah, they just weren't losing. But you hope that the Brewers are one of those teams that played their best baseball at the wrong time. You know what I
that
mean?
exactly. And the Cubs are playing, good baseball at the right time. We'll see. The Red Sox lost tonight too, so that sucks. But
Yeah, I did want to say something about the Cubs, guys. This is the first show that Four Stars has presented since the Cubs moved on to the NLDS. So kudos to them. Congratulations to them. It's cool to see.
I had the game on at work.
It's cool to see
I
a
was
team in
checking in on it
Chicago
throughout.
holding it down, man. It is.
I gotta say, man, that strike that they called on Xander Bogaerts was complete bullshit. That was a terrible call. The Cubs got a lot of help with that call. That called strike
That happens a lot
should
in the
have been a
MLB,
ball.
more often than it should, man.
Yeah, no, but this was egregious. It was clearly a ball. Like that was really bad, really bad. So, but the Cubs got lucky, so I'll take it. But that should have been a ball. That should have been a walk, and that would have been a very different story in that inning. But it was cool.
Yeah,
it was a fun game to watch.
Sometimes they play in your favor, and they've certainly happened against the Cubs, and they will again. You know what I mean?
Oh, the other thing,
officials as of late, man, have been home plate
who,
umpires have been
who
really
was it?
bad.
Who was it that was pitching? Was it Miller? He was the guy they were leaning on, right? And
Miller was the
but he clearly lost it.
Yeah, assassin.
He clearly lost it, and they went out and talked to him on the mound, and I was like, they need to pull this fucking guy out. He has clearly lost it, and then it just got worse from there. That's when your butt cheeks clinched up a little bit. I think Council left him out there a little too long, but it still worked out in their favor.
Yeah, and that's another thing I did want to say, man, because I did intend on talking about the Cubs a little bit tonight, and the story that this has become and will be is, our manager was
Keller. Sorry, Keller. We're not like, I haven't been following very much.
Our manager was coerced from his former team by waving a paycheck in front of him, and now he's going to play him in the NLDS. Just 2 years removed. So, like, this is going to get pretty intense, I think. I think it's going to be
and John S. Bizzo and John S. Thanks for correcting us on that. Sean Kyle. It wasn't Miller. It's Keller. His name's Keller.
I thought you were talking. Wasn't there a player? Yeah, I don't know. I didn't. When you said Miller, I didn't think you were even referring to a Cubs player.
Keller was Keller was the pitcher when the Cubs were leaning on.
Yeah, they got hit.
Yeah, and just started to lose it completely, and Council just left him out there way too long.
Yeah, the problem with the Cubs relief pitchers, man, is some of these guys have been more good than not, but they're all guys who fall into slumps. They're all guys that have one good game and followed up with two bad or something like that.
Well, that happens to every relief pitcher, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, starters are obviously starters because they're consistent. They can.
I'm the guy that, like, if I see it waver just a little bit, I'm like, pull that motherfucker now. Like, don't even give him another pitch to throw here.
And that's the fickle bitch that is managing baseball.
Yeah, exactly, because you got to trust your guys.
I think that's where managers separate themselves from the men from the boys, because what is the rest of the game? A DH, a pinch runner. I mean, the decisions you're making outside of your pitching staff, I don't know how far they carry, but like, the way that Council's handled it has been unorthodox to me. But you know what, man?
It's getting results.
Yeah. I mean, they when he made Darvish start as a reliever in the second inning, the Cubs pitched the game well. They lost because they couldn't score any runs.
Yeah. So, I mean, and it still ended up working out because they won the series. I mean, he knew he had another game at home in his back pocket, and that's the way he managed it. It worked out for him. So we'll see how it goes against the Brewers, man. Go beat the Brewers. That'll be a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
And Bears. Let's do our Bears bye week predictions. Bears are on a bye. It's going to be an interesting week. I mean, Ben Johnson is still about his business. Coaches are in there, figuring shit out, trying to understand this team a little better and have a good game plan going into that Washington game.
Joe says, thanks for having a show during a bye week, guys.
Of course.
I actually almost considered not doing it, man. And then I was like, you know what? These people deserve
Justin will jump on 30 minutes. They deserve
some content. I was gonna do something silly when I planned you and me were gonna do the show together, but I was like, I'll just keep it Bears related. But
again,
I want to do
Monday,
I want to do coaching hot seats in the next couple of weeks here, Dustin.
Monday, October. We will. Monday, October. Fire Callahan now. I'll say that. Monday, October 13th, 4-Star Chicago Sports will be at River Street Tavern, 102 East Dundee, right? I got that right. In East 102
102
River
River.
Street in East Dundee. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's late. Doors open at 5 o'clock. We're gonna do a live pod. We're gonna watch the Bears Commanders game with you if you come on out. Got raffles going on, autograph prizes, Caleb Williams jersey giveaway. Phil came out last time. He had a good time. We had a good time chopping it up
Yeah,
with him. So
Bears fan for life.
yeah, man. So come on out, guys. If you're in the area, come on out. Come hang out. Bears get a win coming out of the bye. It'll be a good night for all, I think. I'm excited for it. So
Dude, real
come check us out.
Have you seen this clip yet of Ben Johnson like kind of stretching his back and blowing his eyes out on the sideline?
I'm sorry, what?
Have you seen this clip of Ben Johnson kind of stretching his back and like blowing his eyes out on the sideline? Have you seen that yet?
Can you do it for me again? Like really get into it?
No, can't get into it. Have you seen it? You haven't seen it?
I don't know that I have. No.
Really? Oh, go look for it,
Let
man.
me look at X right now.
I wish I should have just loaded it on here, man, so I could have played it. But he is seriously a psychopath, man. This guy
Yeah, no, I love him.
he is. The look that he has is like I don't even know what it represents. I don't know what he's feeling in the moment that he does it, but watch it. It is very strange.
He's a guy that yeah. He's a guy that is very intense, and
he looks like
I love it. I fucking love
looks
it.
like he literally just consumed a line. He's like and like winds and his eyes get huge, man, and it's just like what the hell just happened?
Maybe he's got some smelling salts over there.
Maybe that's it looked like that's how a person would respond. You know what I mean?
One thing I did see on X that I just want to throw out: Roma Dunze is having a baller ass season. He said he wants to go for their wide receiver touchdown record. That's a lofty goal.
Yeah. We talked about this. We talked with this kid.
Oh no, he was going to blow up this year. I thought, yeah, he's the wide receiver one. Just for reference, he's the number one receiver in separation win rate versus man coverage in the NFL right now at 52.6%. As I said, he's a fucking man beater. He beats the guy across from him. He's a route running maestro, and he can beat you at the point of the catch. Love Roma Dunze. We got a real number one receiver, and we got a real quarterback. That's a good thing to have going into a Bears bye week. I'm excited to see how they come out.
Roman Tyreek, man, just killing it.
Yeah, Tyree Stevenson. I never jumped off the bandwagon. I've been scrutinized for it, but I'm still here, Tyreek. I'm with you, dude. Keep it going.
He is doing he's grabbing at a hold of this defense, man, for sure. It's awesome.
So just the best wide receiver getting separation against man coverage in the NFL so far, and the leader in touchdowns is our wide receiver, Roma Dunze. I felt like that'd be a good way to go out saying that.
When you neglect some of your greatest needs with guys like Jared Verse, you expect a guy who's going to perform like Rome is. And I listen.
I don't regret it.
I said before the season started. I think I said before the season started, and I think I drew some woes from some of you guys that the expectation should be a top 10 receiver in the NFL. I think that should be. I don't see why not. You drafted this guy. He looked like that player when he was at the collegiate level. He was one of those guys that you just know is going to blossom in the NFL.
Looking damn good.
And
looking damn good.
He could be a top 10 player, man, at the position. He could. He's leading it now.
He's on a bye week for my fantasy team. My fantasy team is in a lot of trouble this week. I got Roma Dunze, Golden, Bijan Robinson, all on buys. I'm starting Kendre Miller, Elik Ayumanor, and Jaden Higgins because I got Terry McLaurin too, and he is out. I'm having a rough week. I'm playing Franco, of course. Fucking Franco.
I got just my Falcons. Got a couple of Falcons on my team. They're both out.
Yeah.
Got Kyle Pitts out, which I can't believe I'm saying this. Hurts. he's been a pretty effective player this year, man. And then I have Drake London obviously on the bench. That's going to hurt as well. So,
Oh yeah, boo hoo, Brandon. Boo fucking hoo.
yeah.
I'm taking the L this week. I accepted it when I drafted my players. It is what it is. My team is the number one scoring team in the league, by the way. So Roma Dunze, keep it going. Come
Most
back.
teams in fantasy have a week that they kind of sacrificed during their draft.
I had a better plan than this though when I did this. But plans are good until they're not.
Samo, Vizzo, Phil, there you are. Bears fan for life. Sorry, Phil, I didn't even see you there earlier. John S. Razzle Dazzle, thanks for coming in. Bringing us down to size as usual. And everybody else who joined us tonight. Foster, man, always good seeing you. Thanks to everybody who joined tonight, guys. Dustin, thanks for popping in. AC Adam as well. Dustin, thanks for popping in. Obviously, conversation with another person is much easier to have.
What am I, a guest? Thanks for popping in.
Thanks for, hopefully we'll have you on the show
actually showing up.
Alan
Pena, that was the other name.
Alan Pena. Send me an email about possibly coming back on another time.
All right, very good.
We appreciate you guys. We love you. We'll see you again. I believe they're going to have a Northside 9. I would imagine
on Saturday. Yes,
this is a pretty vital time for that show, guys, because they'll keep you up to speed and tell you what you should expect from the Cubs in the next series against the Brewers. Dustin, it's always bird on, man.
Bird on.